Okay, a very good evening and a warm welcome to Trent Bridge Live as the Vitality Blast continues here at Trent Bridge. I'm delighted to say that joining myself, Aaron Lord, is an England international, Nottinghamshire's number 9. Sounds like you're a footballer, but I'm going to say, I've not seen your football skills, so I don't know. You might be a very good footballer, but you are a very good cricketer. Ollie Stone, how are you?
Good evening. Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Lovely to see you. Lovely for you to join us here. We're out here in the middle. The pitch is behind us. I think the toss has just taken place. Not sure who's won that toss. So if somebody in the air can tell me, that'd be great. Thank you very much. But just looking at this pitch, obviously this is the same pitch that we played the last game on here at Trent Bridge. What can we maybe expect from that kind of pitch?
I mean, the last 2 games here has probably gone back to the Trent Bridge of old. We've seen, obviously, high scores. Not a bowler-friendly pitch, shall we say. Obviously, yeah, we used it last game. It's used maybe a fraction slower. But I think generally it'll be a good pitch and high scoring again. Yeah, like I say, it looks good. I mean, from speaking to people, they don't expect too dissimilar to the other night, so yeah, it's going to be a case of good execution and hopefully limit the score as much as possible.
You talk about limiting the score, obviously that's short. Well, I mean, I'm stood here actually and I'm looking, I'm not sure which one is the short side, because we usually do have a short boundary here, but from a batting point of view, which sort of boundary, which way would you be looking to attack?
I mean, that side is probably the shorter side. However, you're hitting into the wind that way tonight. The wind seems to have changed direction, so I feel like it pretty much evens it out. So I don't think boundaries matter to batters these days, unfortunately. I think if they want to clear the ropes, they'll go either side. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they're targeting all parts of the ground again.
T20, as you say. Just talking about our opponents very quickly, Yorkshire are the visitors here tonight. They're coming back off the back of their first victory. So what will they be looking to continue maybe here at Trent Bridge?
I guess they'll try and carry that momentum of that win under their belt. Obviously, we're coming off of a loss, which isn't ideal, but the good thing with T20, it comes thick and fast, and we play tonight, and then we've got Friday, Saturday as well. So you've not really got much time to think about it, and they'll be wanting to build on a good partnership where if they bat first, put runs on the board and put us under pressure, and if not, reduce us and try and hunt down a below par score. So I think it'll be a good game. Both teams probably haven't got off to the best of starts in the tournament this year, but like I say, it's really early on, and yeah, both teams will be wanting to win tonight.
You kind of have to take every game on its own merit, don't you, really, because they do come so thick and fast, and so it can change in an instant, can't it?
It can, and I mean, bowlers probably haven't closed out games the way we want to so far this year, but there's a few inexperienced people in there and a young side, and the good thing with T20, that like we say, it comes quick, so you haven't really got much time to think. There's been some discussions about maybe the plans and the way we go about it, so we'll see tonight whether that changes, but that is a good thing. And I feel like T20, you can bowl the best you've ever bowled and get 0 for 40 and bowl the worst you've ever bowled and pick up 5 for it. It's just the beauty of the game. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the lads do tonight.
Well, I've just seen actually, it's Yorkshire have won the toss and they've elected to have a bat, maybe looking at
the innings that they might feel like they can capitalise on that. But I mean, I think once the lights come on here a little bit later on, I feel like the pitch isn't going to change that much. It is obviously used, but it's got a good cover in the grass still, and yeah, I don't think it'll be too dissimilar, and I think Clarkey will be happy enough chasing. I feel like it's a ground, if someone gets in, there's no score that you can defend here. We saw that with Hainsey the other night, and all it takes is one person to come off, and before you know it, you're up with the rate.
Indeed. Right, let's now tell you about the 11 players that will be making their way onto the pitch very, very shortly for your Notts Outlaws, and of course they'll be led by the captain, number 3, Joe Clark. Highest score of 43 so far this year for number 8, Lyndon James. Ollie's just mentioned this next man. He was the match winner on game day 1 against the Bears. It is number 30, Jack Haynes. Coming out with the gloves very, very shortly, he's behind the stumps. It is number 23, Tom Moores. One change this evening sees number 44, Freddie McCann, make his home debut this season in the T20. Number 95 is the Australian Daniel Sams. And then 5 wickets so far for number 22, Liam Patterson-White. And look at this, an amazing economy so far of just 5.6. That's I'll talk to Ollie about that very shortly. For number 14, Matthew Montgomery. Number 3 is Connor McCurr. Number 31 is Calvin Harrison. And finally, he is the leading wicket taker for the Notts Outlaws this season so far. It is number 18, Dylan Pennington. So they are your 11 players for Notts Outlaws. Very quickly, because we're about to hear from Joe Clark, the captain, but an economy of 5.36 for Matthew Montgomery. I think he's bowled some about 6 overs. I mean, whether you bowl spin or whether you bowl pace, that's an amazing economy.
Yeah, it is, and he's worked very hard on his bowling over the winter, and he's put a lot of effort into try and pride himself on not just being a part-timer, should we say. And I feel like, yeah, the way he started this year, he's shown his skills, and I feel like if he gets a few more overs, you'll see him pick up a few more wickets as well. So now he's been brilliant so far this year, and if you economies like that at any phase of the game, you're doing well.
Right, let's.
Joe, 4 games into this first block of the T20, 2 wins, 2 losses. What's your honest assessment of where the Outlaws are at right now?
I think we've played some good cricket, and we've probably not been where we'd like to have been in some of the games, but in the 2 games that we have lost, I've felt like we've been in positions to win the game, which is always a positive. But you know, we've had
Joe, 4 games into this first block of the T20, 2 wins, 2 losses. What's your honest assessment of where the Outlaws are at right now?
I think we've played some good cricket, and we've probably not been where we'd like to have been in some of the games, but in the 2 games that we have lost, I've felt like we've been in positions to win the game, which is always a positive. But you know, we've had some good chats, and you know, certainly some things that we can improve on going into this next little block. You know, we've conceded 200 plus here at Trent Bridge in both home games, and it's a difficult task to ask the batters to go out and chase that. Although it's been good wickets and small boundaries, we just probably didn't get someone like the previous game when we did chase it. Go on and get that significant score. You know, everyone sort of got in and got out. So plenty of positives, some learnings to take into for the rest of the campaign.
So Jack Haynes is kind of leading the way in run scoring at the moment with over 170 runs across those 4 games so far. Is there anything in particular you think has put Jack in that position to be able to kind of excel ahead a little bit?
Well, for one, he's an unbelievable player. I think he probably didn't show everyone last year, being his first year at the club. I could almost sense it myself. I've been, you know, in his position where you move to a new club and you put a lot of pressure on yourself to perform. And I think over the course of pre-season and his Red Bull form, he showed what a proper player he is, and he's now showing that in the T20 format. And yeah, hopefully it's obviously a great start for him, and hopefully he can kick on again and have unbelievable competition this year.
So going back to the whole squad then, is there a particular kind of mentality we're now trying to lock ourselves into as we're kind of 4 games in, so we've started, we've bedded ourselves in, we've got to keep running at it, haven't we?
Oh, definitely. The games come thick and fast, you know. Yorkshire next, and then, you know, Derbyshire and Warwickshire. They're all tough games, but if you can get on a bit of a roll. And that's what I'm slightly disappointed with, having a good Friday night win at Derby and then coming here and not getting the win. It'd be nice to have gone 2 from 2 in that terms, but you know, competitive cricket, and we've lost no confidence from 1 defeat, and yeah, hopefully, you know, we can come out against Yorkshire and put on a show, and then kickstart into another sort of period where we can get on some momentum and some wins.
We also had a bit of a disco at Derby, didn't we, with the lights going out halfway through Outlaws innings?
Yeah.
Ever happened to you before?
No, it hasn't happened to me before. I don't really want it to happen again, to be honest. No. It wasn't very nice.
But we got over the line. With DL in play, we got over the line.
I think, to be honest, if the lights hadn't have gone, I think we'd have, well, I'm pretty confident we would have won anyway. we were way ahead on Duckworth Lewis, and we had 2 set batters in, and so when it came to it, it was all about just staying in the moment, staying present, and them 2 lads obviously then finished it off with ease.
So let's look ahead to Yorkshire tonight then. They picked up their first outright win of the campaign on Sunday against Leicester at Headingley. What do we think they're going to bring to Trent Bridge off the back of that?
Well, some probably confidence for getting a win under the belt. I mean, they've got some very experienced players, and Dabo Milan and Adam Life, and some real young talent as well. We played them once last year at the last game of our comp, and beat them quite convincingly. But as I say, they've got players who can win games cricket, so we're going to have to be on our best performance.
Who are you looking at to step up in this game?
All 11. I think that's probably...
Correct answer, Joe.
I think that's probably yourself? The one thing, yeah, definitely. I think that's probably the one thing where we haven't quite strung a probably collective team performance yet. I think Derbyshire was probably our closest to that, and that probably showed in the sort of convincing win. But it'd be nice if we could, have a whole team, chip in. It's very unlikely in T20 cricket, but to feel like we've had a proper team performance would be nice.
Brilliant. So it's the Yorkshire Vikings here tonight at Trent Bridge. Let's have a look and see how they've stacked up in years gone by.
Of Joe Clark there with Kirsty. Mentioned about the head-to-head, so let's talk about that now. Ollie, 35 games so far between the 2 teams. It's stacked in the Outlaws' favour, 22 wins against the 12-4 from what used to be known as the Vikings, now just Yorkshire. Do players really look at past history and what that might mean?
Not too much. It wouldn't surprise me if that graphic got put up in the team meeting, just as a little bit of a added, get up and go, should we say. I mean, it's obviously, it's good that it's in our favour, but T20, like we've said and highlighted already, that it's a funny old game and things can happen. Obviously it'll take confidence from that, and there's a lot of different players maybe from those previous games. But no, it's a feather in our cap and something that we'll hopefully add to tonight.
We've talked about it out there in the middle, and Joe mentioned it in that little interview there. Not the ideal start for us as Outlaws. Obviously, 2 wins, two losses. But as Joe says, you're a player in that dressing room, been in those dressing rooms. It's not a panic situation, is it? Because as we mentioned, things can change. A win here tonight, another couple of games at the weekend. You can build that momentum.
Yeah,
big word.
Definitely. And there's a chance to get 12 points on the board out of these next 3 games. And I mean, we've not started how we'd want to. I mean, it's a lot more promising, shall we say, than last year. Obviously, last year we weren't our best either, but there's a lot more signs this year that we've learned from that. We've built. There's obviously players that were involved in it last year, and that hurt has probably pushed us on to do a bit better. I know we obviously always go out there and try and do our best, but you obviously, when you don't have a season you want, you work that probably a little bit harder and try and look for a few more things. So there's been glimpses of good stuff, but we probably just haven't, as cliche as it is, put the all-round good performance in. And whether that's with the bat or the ball or even in the field, I feel like we could maybe be a little bit sharper. Then before you know it, those losses turn into wins, and like you say, that momentum goes with us, and it's a big 3 games before we go into that little break for the 4-day comp. So hopefully we can, I reckon, we'd love 3 out of 3 wins, but if you took 2 out of 3 out of these next 3 games, we'd snap your hand off for it.
Yeah. Quick question, lucky?
I haven't.
Championship, and we're about to hear from a couple of the lads, but let's just remind you of that game-winning goal and a little bit of the celebrations.
Round Olszewski out front, what a chance, it's over! It's over! It's over this time for sure, it's Fossier! Fossier in overtime! The Panthers are the 2025 champions! Sam Herr will start the celebrations at Motor Point Arena. The champagne bath for the captain. Raise it high, Sam Herr. The 2025 Grand Final champions, the Nottingham Panthers, win tonight and skate together forever, a moment in time.
Okay, now I am joined by three of that playoff-winning championship playoff Panthers team. Ollie Bettridge, Jordan Kelsall, Josh Tetlow at the back. I think Josh doesn't want to talk, does he? He's a bit back. Have you done a lot of talking? We've just shown the boys and girls at home the game-winning goal and obviously some of those celebrations. Just tell us how amazing that game was for you all.
I mean, personally, I don't think I can really put it into words. I mean, it's kind of a one-off experience about how that game played out. Probably watching that back home is kind of weird to win a game, lose a game, and then still win a game, all in one game. So it's kind of a special thing for us to do. And do you know what? It's amazing being able to do that at home, be able to be in front of the city, and yeah, it's a pretty special and memorable one for us all.
I mean, for you personally, you've won trophies with the Panthers before, but it's been a tough few years, in many ways, obviously for the Panthers. So to get that win, how do you think this can change going forward?
I think we've definitely built those blocks now for the upcoming season. Yeah, as you said, it's probably not gone the way we want it to the last few years, and yeah, it's obviously the results haven't really gone our way. But this year we've been in the title or a chance to win everything. So I think any team, if you can put yourselves in a position to win a title or give yourself an opportunity to win any given trophy in any given night, is to finish off with the playoff champion.
Elite series in the COVID year. The playoff trophy was your first major trophy for the Panthers. How special was it for you two to finally get a trophy of your hands at home in front of your own fans?
Yeah, I mean, for me it was I think the best feeling in the world, obviously. The playoffs being in Nottingham as well was kind of extra special to not only win something but do it at home. Of course we want to win everything we play in, but I think the playoffs is special with being in Nottingham. So the best day of my career, I would say. I don't know about you, but
Tex agrees.
Yeah, I mean, not much else to say about it. Like when you can win your final game of the season, it was just so special. So just so happy for everyone. And
all three of you are back next season. Obviously, there's a few imports coming back as well, which is positive. You mentioned about building blocks. Do you feel that the club's there now, building blocks for the future?
I think so. I think they're building a really good foundation. I think if we look back at last season, maybe the start of our season probably cost us a little bit with a couple of results. So I think having a good core of players next year is probably going to give us the best chance of succeeding right from day one. And I think really smart by the team to keep a lot of the guys together. So we're all excited for sure.
Cool. I'm excited. Roll on August, September. Tex, finally to you. Have you ever been down at the cricket down at Trent Bridge, or is this your first time?
No, it's my first time.
What do you think? Obviously, the crowd is starting to build in against Yorkshire. Don't like Yorkshire teams, do we?
No.
So, Notts Outlaws for the victory?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Final words?
Love it, yeah. Good vibes at the cricket, I love it. I'm definitely coming back.
Good vibes at the cricket,
yeah.
What more could you want? Well, thank you very much for joining us. You take that playoff trophy, go and show it to all the fans around here. There's somebody there with a Panthers sign there. I think he's done it himself. Great to see you, and obviously enjoy your evening. And as Tex go, up the Outlaws.
Yeah,
right.
Up the Outlaws.
Thanks very much. Right,
Cheers.
I'm going to get Ollie Stone back in. So if you want to pop the mic to Ollie, whilst Ollie comes back in, not that Ollie,
not bad,
it's
yeah.
Ollie.
Yeah, not too bad.
Let's take a look at the league table. We're just taking a look at the league table. Obviously, the North Group. 4 points now for a victory, 2 for a tie. Do you think that changes much? It's the same kind of ratio. So does that really change much? Obviously, it's quite an important game because Yorkshire near the bottom. North and Steelbacks, former team of yours, doing very, very well in the competition. Do you think that 4 points will make any difference?
I mean, I guess from a graphic point of view, Northants look a long way off. But in hindsight, I always say you can't. It's always the team that peaks at the right time. Obviously, they could go on a mad run and not lose a game, but I think I'd, in a way, much rather be in our position. You sort of not played the perfect game and you're still sitting all right in the table, whereas Northants, as soon as you get on a bad run, it can easily change. So I feel like, they obviously look a long way ahead, but realistically, it's not actually that far. So I don't think we'll be worried.
No. Momentum can work both ways, can't it? Really, I suppose. The last time out against Yorkshire, it was actually at Headingley last year. A victory for the Outlaws, 28 runs. Contributions, we've mentioned him already, from Jack Haynes, but also Freddie McCann, who comes into this team this evening as well. Jordan Thompson, from the Yorkshire point of view, did very well. He's obviously not playing this evening. Again, you know, it's obviously been a successful kind of period for the Outlaws against Yorkshire, but it's a different game here, isn't it, on Trent Bridge? It's a high-scoring ground, not bowler-friendly, so what of the boys, so we can see them up there on the balcony just about to head down. The Yorkshire batters are making their way down as well. What will be going through the lads' minds at this point?
I mean, it'll be trying to get wickets early on. We always say, like, if you're hunting wickets at the start and being aggressive, then that slows the run rate down naturally. And then I guess just be good in the field, like having a good diving stop, a spectacular catch, something like that can change the game and really shift the momentum in your way is massive. And I feel like, yeah, we've started off well with the ball, we just probably haven't carried it on towards the end, so I think that'll be a massive focus for us this game. And yeah, Freddie's coming in. Obviously Moses misses out, unfortunately, but Freddie, new to it, but plays with no fear. He's a cheeky little character who, yeah, won't mind getting stuck in as well. So I think he'll go out there tonight and show his class. He played for the seconds yesterday and got a good run out. So yeah, I think he'll be better for it, and I'm excited to see what he can do tonight.
And just looking at the crowd, obviously it was £10 a ticket for adults, £5 for juniors. Expecting a bigger crowd here this evening. You talk about early wickets, getting the crowd involved. How much can they play a part in that, you know, power play first 10 overs?
Oh, massive! Like, we're blessed here to have such a great crowd, and even last year when it wasn't going our way, they still came and supported us, still flooded in and got right behind us. And I think obviously the start we've been mixed, but I think they'll come in tonight hoping for a good win. And sun's out, like you say, cheaper tickets. Not cheaper food or drink, but
can't have it all.
No, exactly. But no, it'll be a good night, and they are massive. And I think we'll see when Dill or Samsey takes a wicket in their first over that the crowd will be right behind us and continue to do that tonight.
So final thoughts. What are you thinking? What you know? You've seen the pitch. You've played it many a time. You know, for Notts and against Notts. You know what's happened previously in this group. What kind of score will Clarkie and the boys looking to kind of keep them restricted to?
I mean, anything under 180 is probably on the basis of the last two games. Be interesting, like we said, to see how the pitch reacts in that first few overs. But I feel like psychologically, anything when you start getting over 10 and over from the get-go, it only takes one or two slow overs or a couple of wickets here and there, and you're right behind the rate, and it pushes to 12s, and then it becomes more of a challenging task, shall we say. So I think anything under 180, I think they'd be happy with. Obviously, I think par in these comps are going up. I think around the country, I've seen already a handful of games over 200, like, from people. So yeah, anything under 180, I think boys would be well happy.
Well, there you go. They are the thoughts of Ollie Stone. The umpires are making their way across the balcony, so it's time for us to hand over and join our BBC radio commentary team, and that includes the team that are on 5 Live. Me and Ollie will be back after the first innings, so do join us then. But it is the Notts Outlaws that will be fielding first, and it's nearly game time.
Of the officials and the two teams from down below us. The news we can bring you is that Yorkshire have won the toss this evening here at Trent Bridge, and they have opted to bat first. So Notts in the field for the 5th game in a row. 3 times Joe Clark has won the toss and opted to field first, and the 2 occasions where he's lost the toss at Old Trafford and here this have 11. They've won their 2 Friday evening matches, lost their 2 Saturday matches, and this evening, under the clear blue skies over West Bridgeford, we have got the visit of Yorkshire for match 5. Yorkshire lost their first 3 games, but their last outing at the weekend decisively beat Leicestershire by 106 runs. A Leicestershire side, by the way, that's been playing some very, very good cricket. Very good evening to you. Welcome to Trent Bridge. Carl van Vollenhoven alongside me. We'll bring Kyle in just a moment. I'm Dave Bracegirdle, and I can tell you there's one change to the Notts side. Moses Enriquez misses out, can only assume it's a recurrence to the back injury. Those of you that did see the fixture on Saturday here, it was clear to one and all that Moses wasn't fit to go. Didn't bowl, hardly got involved in the field, and was out for a very quick 3-ball 5. So it's Freddie McCann back into this Notts starting 11 as the green and gold come out, and off go the fireworks in the background. Joe Clark, Lyndon James, Jack Haynes, Freddie McCann, Tom Moores, Matthew Montgomery, Daniel Sams, Calvin Harrison, Liam Patterson-White, Conor McCurr and Dylan Pennington. Sounds like the Blitz, doesn't it? Crikey. Awful lot of fireworks going off. Yet it is, as I said, a lovely sunny evening. Sometimes seems like a little bit of a waste. Perhaps save it until it gets darker later on. Yorkshire, well, they welcome back Will Sutherland, one of their overseas, the Australian big mate of Fergus O'Neill, back in the Yorkshire starting lineup, which reads Adam Lyth, David Millan, Will Luxton, James Wharton, Matt Revis, Harry Dew, Don Bess, Will Sutherland, Jafar Johan, Jack White's into their side for Dan Moriarty, and Will O'Rourke. The players have made their way out to the middle. Looks as if it's going to be Matthew Montgomery.
I'm so pleased to see him start with ball in hand. He was fantastic against Lancashire. I sat here just keeping everything crossed that I possibly can, and Monty's got the ball. I think that's a great move. Try get through and over early, but what a wonderful day for cricket.
So it is going to be Montgomery to bowl to Adam Lyth. Not in their all dark green that they were in this year with the gold names and numbers. Yorkshire with the predominantly light blue tops, dark blue cricketing trousers, white names and numbers. The umpires, as ever, in this shocking pink, bright magenta type colour, and we're underway as Matthew Montgomery bowls to Adam Lyth. So Matthew Montgomery is at Old Trafford. He was terrific. First run of the day comes from this second delivery, just bunted down the ground by Adam Lyth, and Yorkshire are away 1 without loss. Matthew Montgomery bowled 4 overs, none for 20 at Old Trafford as Lancashire racked up 216, and he only bowled 1 over against Worcestershire here on Saturday. The other 2 matches he hasn't bowled, so an interesting choice by skipper Joe Clark to give Montgomery the ball to begin with. David Millan is lining up. He's taken guard about 7 feet away from the stumps, but gets himself back in there into position now and pushes us into the off. Yorkshire skipper parried in the cover region, and there's no run.
I can only think that potentially 2 left-handers, and skipper Joe Clark's thought, you know, Monty with a bit of a bag of tricks, off spin away, spin the ball away might be a little bit more challenging.
2 out on the leg side fence for the dangerous left-handers, and Milan works this out to Daniel Sams. It's one of the 2 Australians playing then. Sams in the side tonight. Moses Enriquez missing his 2nd game with a back injury. Yorkshire have got Will Sutherland back after a little bit of toe damage, which is now recovered, and Will O'Rourke, the New Zealand bowler. Next ball is swept away by Adam Lyth, and that's gone a long way. Sounded nice off the face of the Adam Lyth bat, and the first 6 of the evening. I strongly suspect there'll be plenty. There usually are here in T20 cricket, but Yorkshire have 8 on the board already.
Effortless sweep shot from Lyth, just got down on one knee and helped it over square leg for half a dozen. Glorious shot, and first boundary of the day is a maximum.
There's Montgomery round the wicket, flatter delivery, pushed through a little quicker as well. Steered to backward point, Lyndon James field. So 8 from the first over. Guess both sides will take a little bit from that. if you can restrict Blythe and Milan to 8 and over during the power play, you're not doing too bad. But likewise, Adam Blythe has already experienced the feeling of lifting the ball over the ropes. 8 on the board.
Yeah, tidy enough first over. I think one boundary, it can happen. Player of Adam Blythe's quality. We're going to have Daniel Sams, the big left arm overseas, into the attack. He's gone at 0 for 48.
It's David Milan on strike. Last couple of knocks in this competition. 69 not out against the Bears. 88 at the weekend against Leicestershire Foxes. Finding a little bit of form, Milan stands menacingly with bat raised as Sams bowls in quickly. It's played up to mid-on, and Adam Blythe was very close to committing himself there. He was a long way down backing up. The ball was played crisply up to Conor McCurr, who, as well as having a number of lone spells around the country, including one at Notts a few years ago, also had a similarly short spell with Yorkshire a few years ago. But now he's a permanent signing, part of the Peter Moore's squad here at Trent Bridge, making the move from Surrey in the close season. Yorkshire 8 without loss at Trent Bridge. BBC Radio Nottingham. Sams bowls, lovely shot, glorious stroke through the covers by David Milan for 4. That was floated up there really by Daniel Sams, half volley length, and Milan quick to feed on it, just caressed it through the offside for a boundary.
It's a glorious shot. It's a stunning extra cover drive by David Milan, showing the full face of the bat. It's a glorious shot and a beautiful boundary. He hits his first boundary. It's 12 for no loss.
Special shot that from Milan, who's on to 5. Here's Sams, comes in again and bowls, and this one's paddled away on the leg side. Protection out there. It's a single. Yorkshire move on to 13 without loss. This is a fixture that Notts have had the better of over the years. This is the 20th meeting at Trent Bridge between the two sides. Notts have won 14 of the previous 19. Yorkshire just 5 victories here in T20 cricket, the last of them a couple of years ago. And overall, both here and north of the border, Notts have won 22 of the 34 completed matches and lost 12 to the White Rose. This is hit into the offside, just short of extra cover, and there's no run. Jack Haynes doing the fielding, very nearly carried to him there from Blythe.
Just about half a yard in front of Haynes, who's on the 30-yard discs at cover. Just a tad early on it there was Blythe, so it's better length from Sams. The ball that got driven through the covers by Milan, this one fraction shorter.
This one's heaved away towards Matthew Montgomery, can't get there either to prevent it going one bounce over the rope, just 6 or 8 paces to his right. He moved quickly, but not as quickly as the ball, and Yorkshire, as you'd expect with these two former England internationals out there, are racing on. Lovely looking shot, 17 without loss.
Lovely flick shot just off his pads there, and Montgomery was interested for a little bit but couldn't quite get there. 17 for no loss.
Blythe's on 11. Sams bowls, and this one's lifted up towards Montgomery, and again he's got no chance there. That's into the Howden Road stand. So a maximum already in each of the first 2 overs for Adam Blythe, and Yorkshire 23 without loss. Daniel Sams, vastly experienced, going for 15 in his first over, and already a sense that Notts could be facing a long 20 overs in the field. They've shipped more than 200 runs in 3 of their 4 matches. The one they didn't was the shortened game at Derbyshire. Admittedly, Notts were only chasing 160, and then we had the power cut. Lost 50 minutes of cricket, so it's a shortened game, but in the other 3, their bowlers have conceded more than 200. Need wickets, and very early on, you'd suspect, against this strong Yorkshire batting lineup, Kyle.
They do. They need to get Milan and Blythe out as early as they possibly can. They're so destructive. Milan in fantastic form, and Blythe looks like he's got the bit between his teeth this evening. So you fancy just removing one of them just to break this dangerous partnership.
It's going to be Dylan Pennington from the Stuart Broad end, the pavilion end. as many of you will know it. This is chopped down to third by Milan for a single. Pennington very much the star of the last day of the recent county championship game up at Headingley between these two sides. Pennington getting 5 wickets on the last day as Nottinghamshire defeated Yorkshire to reach the halfway stage of the county championship on top of the table. And the next fixture begins here on Sunday the 22nd, and that's again Notts against Yorkshire. Here's Pennington in once more. Lythe just paddles this away off his hip. Bread and butter shot really for Adam Lythe out to Daniel Sams. One more to the total. Yorkshire 25 with Outlaws, with the visitors arriving in Nottingham again without the likes of Johnny Bairstow. Matt Milnes not available, played in the last game. Dan Moriarty, the spinner, left out. This is down the leg side, and it's going to be 4 somethings. We'll just have a look at our umpire at the far end. Just deflected away past the diving Tom Moores. 4 more.
Yeah.
Visitors won't mind how they come.
No, I just thought potentially it'd come off a glove down the legs. A horrible way to go out, getting strangled. Tom Moore's just on the floor after it rolled floor, had a cheeky look over his shoulder, almost begging the umpire to give leg byes, and he did.
Pennington in once more, generating a great deal of pace. Heaved away on the leg side, and 6 more. Lovely shot. Lifted over Daniel Sams, who leapt high on the fence at deep backward square leg. Couldn't get anywhere near it, anything on it. The ball comes to rest at the base of the William Clark stand. Somebody throws it back and unhelpfully doesn't find Daniel Sams, so he has to run after it. It's a fabulous shot.
It's a glorious shot. Once again, we've seen Adam Lythe pick it up over square leg a couple of times this evening already. This, no exception, just over the head of Daniel Sams, who couldn't keep it in, and it's gone like a tracer bullet.
Here comes Pennington in once more, and Milan didn't really get into a position there to play it. I fancy it might have been pace off, actually. That one from Pennington. He was sort of through the shot. A couple of years ago, Yorkshire's last win here, David Milan made an unbeaten 95. Not quite the highest Yorkshire score on this ground in the competition. You've got to go right back to the very early years of T20 cricket in this country. Matthew Wood made 96 not out here way back then. There has been a century in these fixtures here. Alex Hales for Notts made 101 in 2017, the year that Notts first won the Blast. Pennington bowls again, pulled away. Sams with work to do, gets there, and then arrows in his return. 35 with Outlaws. End of the 3rd over. Yorkshire going along, even I can work this out. Kyle, they're going along at 12 and over, 36.
They're most definitely on. And once again, Notts have got an incredibly nasty habit of going over 10s as a minimum at the minute. And Conor McCurr brought into the attack now to replace Sam. So just chopping and changing the bowling is Joe Clark. It's sort of something you see a lot in T20 cricket, especially in the power plays. Every bowler bowls one, mixing it up, not letting the batters settle, and then potentially some unlucky individual bowls a second one and over 6. So Conor McCurr into the attack. He bowled absolutely 67, 0 for 17 and 0 for 40 other than that.
See what he can do today. Big man born in South Africa. All this is chipped up and over and away for 4. First ball. Just wondered if he'd timed that as sweetly as he actually did, Milan, but yes, it comfortably cleared the inner ring and away for 4. Speaking of South Africa, of course, it's been the first day of the World Test Championship. A lot of wickets there. Australia 212, South Africa 43 for 4. Kyle's wearing a black armband for that one. In fact, you've got your fingers crossed, haven't you? Because you're looking to be there on Friday if it goes that far.
I hope it does. If it doesn't, it's a waste of a trip down to London.
Milan has 18. Adam Lythe at the non-strikers end has 18. Conor McCurr in again, and this is clipped away on the leg side, and that'll be 4 more. And Yorkshire getting a hurry up on here. They really are. Just quickly to tell you elsewhere, there's more matches going on this evening in the North Group. Durham are 19 for 1 against Derbyshire. in the 4th over up at Chesterley Street. And the Steelbacks, who've won 5 out of 5. They're at Wantage Road. They're 23 without loss after 3 against the Bears. McCann then gone for a couple of boundaries already, and this one's slammed down the ground, and that'll be 1 bounce for 4 more. So 3 in a row for David Milan. And already Yorkshire on to 48 without loss halfway through the 4th, and Milan on to 26. In the women's competition this afternoon, the Bears women won up at Durham, and Trent Bridge's very own The Blaze side, the women's team based here in Nottingham. They're down at the Oval this evening playing Surrey women. The Blaze are batting their 26 without loss in the 3rd. All the scores as ever on the BBC Sport website and app, and periodically we'll let you know what's going on elsewhere, but out here in the middle, in front of a pretty decent crowd, it has to be said. I'll touch on that in a moment. Conor McCann trying to stem the flow of runs, bowling to Milan. Can't do, because Milan has lifted it over mid-wicket. Matthew Montgomery's after it and won't get there. So that's 4 fours in a row here for Milan. Yorkshire have the 50 up, and Milan with a head of steam is 30 not out from 14.
Goodness me, what an absolute display this is from David Milan. Brute force that last one, just muscled it over mid-wicket a couple times this over. Milan well up to the task. He's on 30 of 14. Yorkshire reached their 50 runs in the 4th over, so this is starting to look a little bit ominous for the Outlaws.
Yeah, 52 from 22. I've not forgotten I was going to mention the crowd, but we'll just see what happens to ball 5 in an over that's gone 4-4, 4-4. Conor McCann bowls. This is hit out onto the leg side and goes for 6. Fielder out there, leapt high, couldn't get anything on it. Not even a fingernail, but it wouldn't really have mattered. It's gone for 6. And Daniel Sams gets to his feet with I would imagine, a look of resignation. I think he felt it was possibly a futile attempt, leaping high, but couldn't get anything on it. So the run of 4s is broken by a 6. 22 from 5 balls in this over. Joe Clark's come over and had a word with Conor McCann, but not entirely sure what he can be saying. The field is up on the offside. 2 out on the leg side, and that's where Milan's targeting, and pushes this into the offside, and there's a dot, which brings a cheer. The loudest cheer, in fact the only cheer of the evening. We've had 4 overs, 58 without loss. Yeah, good crowd in. Wednesday cricket, the host club have put a ticket offer on tonight. All adult tickets £10, so they've got the sunshine. They've got a decent opposition, of course, in Yorkshire, local rivalry, etc., etc. And it's a pretty good crowd that's come in to watch this one. But I wonder if 1 or 2 of them might be heading off early if they're here, hoping for Nottinghamshire just to stem this flow of runs. We've had 4 overs, 58 without loss.
Well, just looking to stem that flow of runs, Matthew Montgomery brought into the attack and just shuffling his troops, seeing who he wants out, and he's going to have deep square and deep mid-wicket out, so it's going to have to be very, very straight. No width can be offered to Adam Lyth and David Milan, just the offside or on the ring.
Here comes Montgomery then. Adam Lyth has been watching most of the last 2 overs, and he's going to be doing it again as he pushes this on the leg side. Carl van Vollenhoven alongside me again this evening, former Warwickshire player, not second 11 player, Northerns in the South African first class system. There's a lot of these players. Played with Matthew.
Oh wow.
On 36, make that on 40. That was very elegant indeed. There's a ring of 5 on the offside, all on those 30-yard discs, and this is lifted up and over and away for 4 runs. Milan with the bit between his teeth here. 59 without loss, Yorkshire, and Milan on to 36. Yorkshire winning the toss and opting to bat first. This is paddled round the corner. Dylan Pennington's after it. The ball's going to win that race. The hair getting away from the greyhounds there, and it's 4 more, and he's doing it again. 44 for Milan from just 18 balls. And wouldn't be the biggest surprise in the world if David Millan looks to celebrate a half-century here in the best way possible.
No, he's just taking such good options. Montgomery just overcorrecting after Milan ran down, give himself room and hit an over extra cover, fires us down the leg side, and Milan just got a tickle on it and it raced away to the boundary.
67 without loss, Montgomery bowls. Milan will just drop it down on the leg side, and Adam Lythe's already down at this end. Really good work from the backer upper there, Lythe. 68 without loss. Not mentioned Conor McCurr. I mean, he's another one born in South Africa. I know you all know each other, you South African-born cricketers.
We do.
Have you played with Conor?
I played against him once.
Next ball is sent down by Montgomery, who is bowling right arm off spin, sort of hides the ball behind his back and then spears it in. This one was angled down the leg side, just tickled away by Lythe for his 20th run. I mean, he's going along absolutely perfectly. 20 from 10. The other end, Milan 45 from just 19. There's Montgomery bowls. And this is a rare one because it's gone through into the gloves of Tom Moores. Yorkshire won the toss. They're 69 without loss after 5 overs. Notts making one change. Freddie McCann, who made his debut the last match of last season. Notts winning up at Headingley, scored 48. Just played one of the 4 matches this season. He's back into the side for the injured Moses Enriquez. Yorkshire with the better of those 5 overs, 69 on the board. To see what happens with the next 5. Here's Carl van Vollenhoven.
Daniel Sams is going to be brought back into the attack. Just bowl the last over of this power play. He's got a tough job. Adam Lythe on strike. He's striking at 200, and to say you'd want to keep him on strike is quite a scary thing. Both players obviously vastly experienced, played years and years now. For Yorkshire, David Millan's played in a couple of the T20 tournaments around the world. Here is Sams running away from us into Lythe, who's hitting this pass mid-on. And Conor McCurr doing the chasing will haul it in and they'll get back for 2. So good work from the fast bowler. Sam just banging that one into the wicket. 71 for no loss. If you weren't with us earlier, Yorkshire called correctly when the coin went up and put Notts into to bowl. So far that's paid off really. 71 for no loss. Adam Lythe and David Millan going along really, really nicely. Millan sort of continuing left off against Leicestershire. This is in from Sams, and Lythe swinging away, looking to hit this out of Trent Bridge, and goes through to Tom Moore's no run. Daniel Sams, the only Australian in the not sort of setup today. Moses Enriquez just not fit enough, which is a shame. He is around though. Saw him around at warm-up, so definitely still very much involved in the squad. Guiding all the players. Daniel Sams in here, lower ball. Very well bowled. Slow ball Yorker that was. Wide Yorker from Daniel Sams. Like an off cutter. Adam Lythe just reaching at it. Bottom end of the bat into the floor, and a bit of a crowd catch, wasn't it, Dave?
He'll take that. He'll take Adam Lythe at full stretch all day long, and the bonus was he just played it straight back to the bowler. Precious dot ball.
Yeah, they've been few and far between here, so everyone's gold dust. Then here goes short, and Lythe is hooking this away out to deep mid wicket. It'll be a single. Couple of sarcastic cheers. Don't know how much I'll be cheering if David Millan's back on strike. 45 off 20. This has been a very good over. 3 from it, 2 to come. So run rate has dropped only slightly, but it has. It's only going at 12.71 at the moment. Same field, so you would imagine it'd probably be the same plans. Freddie McCann and Calvin Harrison out on the leg side. Sams in, goes slower ball into the wicket, and it's guided down by Millan, and it beats the diving Pennington at King along nicely to 74 for no loss. Beautiful day. Not a cloud in the sky, slight wisps of white clouds if anything. Trent Bridge at about 75% capacity, I would have thought. Absolutely glorious. No need for any floodlights, and the Outlaws in their beautiful gold and green kits. This is a slower ball again, nice and full from Sams and pushed into the covers where they scampered through for a single. It was nearly an overthrow by Jack Haynes, but at the end of the 6th over, a very calm one. Only 6 coming from it, and it's 75 for no loss.
Yeah, Yorkshire had already done a lot of the damage, got a lot of the runs that they required in the first 5 overs of the power play. They knew really that Notts were just looking for a mistake there, just the over-eagerness just to try and pile on the runs in the 6th and final over of the power play might have brought a wicket, and neither Live nor Milan are ready to say bye-bye just yet. There's plenty of runs out there for them both. Now the field drops deep, so there'll be plenty of 1s and 2s. Bad balls will still be put away, but we'll just keep that board ticking over and get the 13-14 overs, see where they are, and then the assault can come. Big score in the offing for Yorkshire, 75 after 6, going on at 12.5 and over.
Matthew Montgomery to continue, this time with the field spread, so he's got his protection, he's got his 5 boundary riders as Montgomery runs in, ball behind his back into the wicket, and just flicking this one out to square leg for 1 is Milan. He moves on nicely now to 49 from 23, score 76. Adam Lyth and David Milan, 2 left-handers. Montgomery with, again, ball behind his back in, and sweep shot from Adam Lyth looking to target the leg side as cannoned off his pad, and half-hearted appeal from just Montgomery and Moores, almost a plea not given. So again, a rare dot ball.
Well, it had to be those two. There's nobody else within within 30 yards really.
Yeah, everyone else spread, protecting the boundary on the 30-yard circle. This next one is just pulled out to deep backward square where Daniel Sams does the fielding. Keeps the throw low as the sun there just over to our right-hand side, over where the River Trent coming across the ground. So Tom Moores doesn't want the ball thrown in high. Montgomery in flatter, driven all along the ground. Should only be 1. It's very good fielding out there. So it's beat Joe Clark at extra cover, but it will bring up David Milan's 50. 7 4s and 2 6s, striking at a 208. That's a very good knock from David Milan. It's 78 for no loss. Adam Lyth going along nicely as well, 24 off 16 knots. They need a wicket. Monty goes a bit slow and skids on into Lyth's pad. So far, 2 tidy overs, really. One from Daniel Sams, and Montgomery's only gone for 3 here. Can he get out the over? Goes again into the wicket and pushed out into the leg side, and they don't get back for 2. So it's good work out there by Connor McCurry, who does his herring in from long on. So 4 coming from that one. Montgomery been pretty tidy. So at the end of 7 overs, it's 79 for no loss, and Notts are just pulling back this start.
Yeah, I wonder how much of it is down to this pair deciding, right, let's just play sensibly now, take what's on offer, have a little bit of a look, keep it going. They've picked up 10 from the last 2 overs, and they can afford to do that, getting 69 from the first 5. It's going to be another over from Pennington. Plenty of spin options, of course. Calvin Harrison, the leg spinner, and Liam Patterson-White, the slow left armour. So used to Notts over the years getting through the 6-over power play, and then Stephen Mullaney from one end, Sammy Patel from the other, and really strangling sides for 8 overs after the power play. Of course, they've both moved on. Mullaney, part of the coaching setup here at Trent Bridge. Sammy Patel now with Derbyshire, although currently out injured, picked up a knock against Notts last Friday night.
Dylan Pennington at the top of his mark. Good old long run up this He is tearing away at the Radcliffe Road end in this 2 games. Prior to that, 2 wickets. So he's in good form. He bowled nice and quickly at Derbyshire the last time I watched him. Nice and skillful. Got a little bit of tap from Nye Donald. Here he is again. Here goes full to life. He's slamming this down the ground. 4 runs. Lovely shot. Slightly over pitch by Pennington, and with mid-off in the ring, it's a lovely little swing of the bat and it flies away to a boundary. Life moves to 29, the score 83 for no loss.
Glorious shot from Adam Live. My old mate Dave Callaghan would have been purring at that. Whitby Warrior, Bracey used to call him. Whitby Warrior.
This one in, and it's a top edge, and it should be taken, and it is taken. So it's a good comeback. Pennington going a little bit wide, a little bit more into the wicket. Life giving himself a little bit too much room. Reaches at this one and spoons it straight up to Joe Clark, who in all honesty will not take a simpler catch all season. I don't think he'll take an easier catch in his career. Life's got to go for 29 knots, pick up a much needed wicket. They get the breakthrough that they craved. It's 83 for 1, and Life dropped his bat on the way out.
Yeah, he's done his bit though. In the crease for just half an hour. 21 balls he faced, 2 4s, 2 6s. Adding 83 for the first wicket in double quick time with David Milan. Nothing wrong with that from Adam Live. Again, he was chasing a wideish ball. I mean, he'll be one just to leave alone, I guess, for a minute or two, because he'll be disappointed. There was plenty of runs out there for him to go after, but he perished trying to give the score a boost. The new man is Will Luxton. He scores this season in the competition 0 and then 1, then 24, then 62. I guess ominously for Notts, he's increased his score every time. See what he can do now as he arrives out in the middle, right-hander in at 3.
Yeah, another man that's off a really good knock, similar to David Milan. So 2 men in form now at the crease. The right-hander, so right-hand, left-hand combination. What can Pennington dish up here? He goes full, and Luxton pushing this out to cover for 1, where Calvin Harrison on the boundary just does the tidying up. 8-4 for 1, and it almost feels like Milan hasn't faced the ball in quite some time. So what sort of get out of a rhythm when you don't face often, and
yeah, you can do.
Not to just look to try starve him of the strike a little bit. Try bowl a couple of dots at Luxton with a new batter. Maybe Milan plays a false shot. Will it come here? Pennington goes slower, ball into the wicket, and Milan almost casually, very early on the shot, flicks of the wrist and bunts it out to deep square for 1. 86 for 1.
It's gone up already, I think. So 1 ball left in the over, 85 for 1, I think it is. So what Notts want here is, well, A, a wicket, B, a dot, and C, just a single.
Well, not too much to ask for then. In, and this is driven straight down the... Oh my word, that is glorious. Goodness me, that's a great shot. Man in form, straight drive, again, straight from the coaching manual. Pennington over pitching slightly, and the tall Will Luxton stands up on it and drives it straight past mid-off for 4. Pennington's got his hands in his head, because I think he knows that that really was a golden opportunity to potentially not go searching. Give him a 1.
Yeah, you know, I gave him 3 options. You know, if you can't get him out, restrict him, you know, keep him at that end, or at the very worst, let him get a single, so you're bowling at the new man at the start of the next over. But David Milan can unleash his weaponry once again at Conor McCurr, whose first over went for 22.
Yeah, changing ends, hoping for a little bit of a change in fortune here. It's Conor McCurr, 89 for 1.
Well, it was Milan who hit him last time, wasn't it? 4 4s and a 6.
It was. So McCurr in, goes into the wicket. Milan leading edge, and it just lands in no man's land and goes out to cover for 1. Milan early on the shot and potentially holding in the wicket, goes out for 1. On the wicket side of things, Dave, you were quick to mention it. It is the same wicket that Notts played Worcester on. Worcester obviously racking up a score of over 200. So can't imagine it would have changed much from 40 overs on it. Potentially could be, again, a very high-scoring game if Yorkshire continue at this trend. Luxton on strike, McCann goes in, and this is hammered down the ground. Potentially rushed him a little bit out to mid-on, no run.
Yeah, it's the wicket that we're doing, and Notts versus Worcestershire followed, so it's had 40 overs on it, and clearly in good enough nick to be used tonight. We've already seen the balls coming on nicely.
McCann from the Stuart Broad end goes slower ball, and this is pushed out into extra cover rather uppishly. And Calvin Harrison does the tidying up, so they get through for one. That's 91 for one. A lot of these games are played on what they call hybrid wickets, so potentially, well, they are 50% synthetic. Sort of helps with the amount of cricket that they're playing on it, which is why we're seeing so many runs at the minute. Again, it looks like an absolute belter here at Trent. McCann in goes short, and I think he's going to have to re-bowl that one, and he is.
Yeah. Just mentioned Samit Patel and the injury he picked up against Derbyshire. I thought he'd be out for a while. I've just noticed he's skippering Derbyshire tonight against Durham. Durham 76 for 2 after 10 overs. Halfway stage there at Chesterley Street against Samit Patel's Derbyshire. The other game in the North Group this evening, Northant Steelback 62 for 1 after 8 against the Bears at Wantage Road.
Notts wanting to get back to winning ways here against Yorkshire. McCann goes slower ball, and again is going to have to re-bowl that. Tom Moores has actually done quite well. Yeah, just took a nasty bounce in front of him, so you don't want to be bowling too many extra balls.
No, this already is going to be an 8-ball over.
Yeah, but in saying that, from the really, really big start, first over going for 8 after second over that they won 22, 69 after 5, 75 after 6. It's been quite quiet since then. McCann into the wicket, and oh my goodness me, that is huge. That is nearly in the bus stop outside Trent Bridge. That is a really big shot. I just had to say it, didn't I? I said that it was going smoothly, and it's been pulled away by Milan for 6. That's a massive hit.
Is it a South African saying, foot in mouth?
Yeah, it is. Oh, I should stop talking.
Well, no, don't do that. Please don't do that. But David Milan is in super nick here. It really is. And that was a massive blow. Really big hit. Behind square on the leg side. Shame they only get 6 for it.
McCann in.
Oh!
And it's a leading edge, and that's how you come back. That is exactly how you answer being hit to the moon. You get him out the next ball. Fantastic comeback, Conor McCann. Fantastic heart this man shows. Every game he runs in for his team, and he's got a really big wicket. The dangerous David Milan has got to go for 58. It's 99 for 2, and that's a big, big wicket by Conor McCann.
It really is. 7 4s, 3 6s, just 28 balls at the crease for his 58, David Milan. And he was squared up a little bit, leading edge, just lolloped back to the bowler, and Conor McCann, well, he's gone all round the park, 1 for 32 from 11 balls, but he's got rid of Milan, and understandably threw the ball sky high and very much enjoyed his celebration. You're out, he says, you're out, I've got you, yes, he says, with a great deal of relief, I would imagine. So Will Luxton's not been there too long, he's on 6. New man is James Wharton. Notts, if they're going to make any sort of comeback here or restrict the Yorkshire side, 2 new batters at the crease is a start.
Yeah, definitely. Wharton gone all right, started off the blast at 58, and then 2, 39, and most recently 12. So a little bit of a squeeze here, and Conor McCann will be rearing at this. So here he is. 2 Wharton goes in, and this is flicked out to mid-on. It's going to be a dot ball, so good comeback by Conor McCann. He's picked up the big wicket of Milan. It's 99 for 2 after 9. So 10 coming from that one, but the big wicket of Milan, which they would have taken.
Yeah.
And I fancy we're going to see a little bit of leg spin or left arm off spin, more leg spin. Calvin Harrison.
It's the leggy, Calvin Harrison. Yeah, Wharton's a dangerous hitter. Don't underestimate his powers. Century in this competition last season. Nice, clean hitter. It's going to be Calvin Harrison, then the first, if you like, of the recognised spinners. Matthew Montgomery's already helped himself to a couple of overs. Not yet seen Liam Patterson-White, but now the leg spinner, and it'll be a leg spinner to talk you through it.
Calvin Harrison from the Radcliffe Road end, and I like this idea. They've gone 1 point and got a mid-wicket and just trying to squeeze here. So Calvin Harrison tossed the ball a few times and slow approach into the wicket, flick down the leg side, and this is a scamper through for one. So most of the damage done by David Milan, who got 58, and his opening partner Adam Lyth.
I mean, from here you're looking at 225, 230.
Yeah. Harrison in, and this is pushed down the ground as well, bowled by Calvin Harrison. A little bit slower and pushed down the ground by Wharton. So Calvin Harrison's been a tad expensive, as all the Notts bowlers have. 1 for 35, 0 for 52, 0 for 26 and 1 for 25. This one dragged down and just helped out to mid-on, held up and spun a little bit in the wicket. Gets away with one. There does Calvin Harrison. 102 for 2. 3 singles off this over. Calvin Harrison in, goes into the wicket. Oh my word, that has absolutely ragged. Goodness me. Tell you what, that will get Jaffa Chauhan a little bit excited, but this is really good news for Joe Clark, and all of a sudden he's leaving mid-wicket open. So 2 points and an extra cover goes in, saying play me to the leg side against the spin. Calvin Harrison goes into the wicket again, and this one not spinning as much, pushed out to long on for a single. So 1 bye and 4 singles from this. So 5 from this over. 104 for 2. Calvin Harrison in, goes into the wicket again. Slightly quicker, slightly flatter, and pushed out to long on. So a tidy over, and the Trent Bridge faithful are starting to get a little bit behind their side here, starting to recognise that they're putting a few things together. Tidy over, 6 coming from that, 5 coming off Calvin Harrison himself. 105 for 2 at the end of 10, and Notts have got a nice little platform to build on here.
Yes, the halfway stage has arrived. It's also the halfway stage at the Oval, where Surrey women are playing the Blaze, the Trent Bridge-based women's side, and the Blaze are batting. They're 100 for 2, and for the first time this season, Catherine Bryce has been dismissed, out for 2, so she's averaging about 170 for the competition. Marie Kelly out for 46, Georgia Elwis has 44. Here we've got Liam Patterson-White into the attack, and his first ball is bunted down the ground by James Wharton for a single. Wharton on to 3, Luxton on to 9, 106 for here at they call it, don't they, Wednesdays. There's Patterson-White bowling, turned behind square for another single. 107 for 2.
Liam Patterson-White into the attack. So 2 players that now take the ball away from the right-hander.
There's Patterson-White bowling. Oh, now then he's pulled this one away, Wharton, and it's cleared the leg side field, and it's gone halfway up the Larwood and Vos and away for 6. Mighty, mighty blow for Wharton. Didn't say he was just a little too short from Patterson-White.
Yeah, just really quick on his feet there was Wharton. Patterson-White trying to fire this one into the wicket and just dropping it too short, and well, not going to miss out on that. And they're just having a conversation. It's taken a little bit of damage, hasn't it? Larwood and Vos. So and Stan's done a little bit of damage. So change in ball. Patterson-White. Well, he's been good with the ball. 0 for 14, 1 for 21. then most recently 1 for 37. But I always find this interesting in terms of changing the ball. So that's Rob Lord, isn't it? That Rob Lord's brought the ball bag out, and they'll just go and pick a ball. Yeah, this one seems good. And
well, it's not a bag. It's a very fancy. I don't know what do they call them. Attaché case, briefcase. Yeah. Very nice indeed. Steve O'Shaughnessy just grabbed one and said, "Let's get on with it."
Looks like one of those cases out of Ocean's 8 or Ocean's 11.
113 for 2, stuffed full of banknotes. Patterson White bowls to Wharton, who I think was in 2 minds there, or 3 minds. He couldn't make his mind up whether to hit it for 4 or 6 or nudge it back to the bowler, and he did the latter. 113 for 2 at Trent Bridge. Wearing those elasticated sleeves, Liam Patterson White, as he so often does. Bowls a ball that Wharton can ease into the offside, and Daniel Sams, who's got one of the strongest throws I've seen in a cricketer for a long time, just lobs this one back in. 114 for 2. Buxton has 10, pushes it to cover, and decent start for Patterson White. 9 from that over, 100 over.
Yeah, it's going to be Calvin Harrison to continue, so middle period of spin. We've seen a little bit of spin. We've mentioned it is a used wicket, and Calvin Harrison got one to turn viciously. And he'll be looking to do the same here.
There is Harrison. Bowls now. It was just slightly leggy, and Wharton down on one knee just drags it away behind square for a single. Matthew Revis, Harry Duke, Will Sutherland, Don Bess. The next 4 on the card, down the leg side, and taken by Tom Moores. Not giving any width outside the off stump here, Calvin Harrison, but the last 2 deliveries have just been too leggy. From the leggy, tosses this one up, hit down the ground. Fielder down below our commentary position is Matthew Montgomery, just a single. 117 for 2.
Yep, again, really nice bowling by Calvin. Just mixing it up nicely.
Comes in again, tosses it up, and this one's hit in the air, out towards Sams. Should gobble this up all day, and does. And Harrison has a wicket, and it's Wharton who goes for 11. It's a little bit of a cheap one, a little bit of a gimme for the Outlaws, that one. Wharton hitting against the spin, hitting it to the deep mid-wicket boundary. I know it's not the biggest boundary in the world, but couldn't clear Daniel Sams, and Wharton has gone. Caught Sams, bowled Harrison for 11, and it's 117 for 3.
Yeah, we mentioned that Harrison is going to play a big part here with the spinning. Wharton just looking to slog sweep this away, and extra bounces just come off the top edge, and Daniel Sams, as cool and calm as you like, takes it. So really, really good bowling. So Yorkshire lose their 3rd. Wharton's gone for 11. Harrison picks up his 1st. It's 117 for 3 now.
New man is Harry Duke, who will have the gloves this evening for the White Rose. Wondered who it might be, but it was a little bit of a giveaway when Johnny Tattersall earlier just stuck his head in our box, and that's where the BBC Radio Leeds guys, Jonathan Doidge here, in the room next door. So we knew Johnny wasn't going to be keeping wicket this evening. And first ball is beaten by Harrison. What do you call that? A ripper. Tom Moores gathers it, whips off a bail, asks umpire Ashraf, but not out.
What a delivery that is. Well bowled, Calvin. It's what we like to see. It's like absolutely gorgeous bowling.
There's Harrison in again to Duke, and the new arrival pushes it down the ground. Will get a single. 118 for 3. Breaks have been applied somewhat, but that's hardly surprising after the manic start that was given by David Malan, and in particular, well, David Malan and Adam Live. Malan in particular really got hold of Connor McCurt, taking 22 off 1 over. Luxton a little drop and run. 120 for 3. In fact, it was already on the board. 119 for 3. Scorers doing their work up there. ever popular Yorkshire scorer here on duty. Ian Smith works the big screens here at Trent Bridge. And it's a lovely evening with the ground half bathed in sunshine, half in shade. This one's pulled away on the leg side by Luxton for a single. He moves to 13, 120 for 3.
Yeah, Luxton's really looking to pounce on anything remotely short from Liam Patterson-White. That one fired again really quickly into the wickets, and Luxton went back looking to access the short leg side boundary, just couldn't get away from it. Duke, what would you call that? Beach blonde hair coming out the back of his helmet.
Patterson-White bowls, and he's got a wicket, I think, there. Yeah, they celebrated instantly. We had to wait for Harry Duke to look towards the umpire, and up went the finger. Must have just got a thin little tickle on this, and he has to go. Duke caught by Tom Moores from the bowling of Patterson-White for 1.
Absolutely well bowled, really nicely bowled by Liam Patterson-White, angled in, turned and straightened a little bit. Duke just forward defending off the front foot, takes an outside edge. Tom Moores takes a good sharp catch as it's risen quite steeply, takes it quite high up, and this is a really nice ball. We're just having a look at the replay. It's spun. Oh, it's a great grab. It's a fantastic left and a
thin tickle, or did he get a good piece on that?
Quite a good piece on that. It's a good catch. Tom Moores takes it just above the shoulder, almost with his hands facing down, as you just see those keepers do. So it's a really lovely catch, really nice ball, and if it's going to start spinning like this, I think Notts are really in the game here.
Well, they're in the game till they have to bat.
Correct.
New man out there is Will Sutherland, the chief. There he is, a nice picture of him up on the big screens here in his Melbourne Renegades gear. Skippers the Renegades in the Big Bash. Been out with a toe injury. He's had 2 innings in this competition, 58 and 0. He's on strike now, the Australian international, to Patterson-White, and pushes this back to the bowler. His dad, James Sutherland, used to be the chief exec of Cricket Australia, and Will became big chief and the chief. Sister Annabelle plays international cricket for Australia as well. Turns this on the leg side, and they get a single.
Talented family.
Very much so, yeah. He's captain of Victoria, plays under the old Notts coach David Hussey down there in Melbourne. And he's big friends with Fergus O'Neill. This is pulled onto the leg side. Is that going to be another wicket gifted to Notts? And Patterson-White, like picking cherries off the lowest branch here, has got Luxton now. That was nothing more than a long hop, just helped into the hands of Calvin Harrison, and Luxton goes. And the wheels are coming off a little bit here for Yorkshire. Luxton caught Harrison, bowled Patterson-White for 13. Run a ball 13 at that. 121 for 5. Remember, they were 83 without loss, 99 for 1, 117 for 2. They're now 121 for 5.
I said Luxton was sweating on anything remotely short from Liam Patterson-White. This one again, shorter, but a little bit quicker. Luxton again trying to lift this away. He's got absolutely none of it. It wasn't quite there to pull away, and Calvin Harrison, similar to Daniel Sams, never going to drop it, never looked like dropping it. Notts have got 2 in and over, 2 wickets and 2 runs. So it's a fantastic passage of play this for the Outlaws. The spinners are doing the job. Spin to win.
Came down, had a little word. I can only imagine it was, don't just get yourself out like the last 2 have. 1 ball left in this over. Patterson-White has figures of 2 for 11. Final ball of the over. This is pushed back to him. 121 for 5 at the end of the 13th. Notts have somehow found a way to get themselves back into this, but can't help thinking it's been with a little bit of help from the White Rose. They've gifted a couple of wickets in the recent past.
They have a couple of soft dismissals, but Joe Clark, who has actually just gone off the field, Ben Martindale coming on, will never turn that down. So 2 gifts in regards to Luxton and Wharton. just getting caught on the boundary, but an absolute seed to get rid of Harry Duke. It's going to be Calvin Harrison to bowl his third. He's going to be bowling to the Australian Sutherland. Again, Ben Martindale is in at mid-wicket, so just trying to squeeze here to the Aussie overseas.
So here he comes now. Harrison bowls, Sutherland pushes it into the offside, no run.
It's good work out there. An extra cover by Lyndon James, just keeping the squeeze on.
Harrison once more, second ball of the over, and played with a straight bat into the V, they call it, don't they? Hitting into the V, plays it down the ground to Montgomery. 122 for 5. Sutherland doubles his tally from 1 to 2. Matthew Revis to face Calvin Harrison for the first time. Shadows lengthening out there on the field. But nice to have shadows. The floodlights aren't on, so now the sun's about somewhere. This next delivery floated up there. Nice. So he's not so good with the keepy up, is Calvin Harrison, when the ball was lobbed towards him from Lyndon James. It was a lovely delivery, wasn't it? Just held it back nicely.
I think that was the googly.
Comes in again and bowls, and now Revis is away, bunting it down the ground to Matthew Montgomery. And we have got everybody's favourite scoreline on a scoreboard: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's most definitely your favourite.
This ball is pushed down to Freddie McCann. 1 notch change.
Bit of a low here. Nott will be very, very happy. Calvin Harrison only gone for 3 off this over. He's in again, and this is cut away, and I think that's going to get to the boundary, and it does.
Yeah, nice looking shot.
So Calvin Harrison just drifting it a little bit too short and offering a little bit too much width, and Revis just leans back and cuts it away for a boundary. 128 for 5.
This is the sort of situation where you've got to rebuild, but you've got 6 overs left. You've got to revise your plans. I'm sure, you know, I said they're on for, at the halfway stage, the way they were going, they're on for 220, 225, something like that. They're only 2 wickets down. But a loss of 3 wickets since then means that Yorkshire have got to make the most of the work that's been done by the top order, but at the same time they can't afford another 1 or 2 to go down now, otherwise they might not get more than 160. That won't be enough. Well, you'd imagine it won't. Another single here for Sutherland, who will, I'm sure, just be having a little look round, acclimatising himself. Don't think he's played at Trent Bridge before. Having a little look round, he'll be looking for the pockets of the ground where he thinks he'll be able to score some runs. There's Patterson White into Revis, again just drops it to mid-wicket, and there's a single. Notts won't mind that, will they, at the moment, whilst they're just dropping it and taking singles. 130 for 5. What they've got to hope, the home side, is that when the big hit is attempted, it's miss-hit slightly and goes straight to the fielder, like a couple of those dismissals have. Another single down the ground. 131 for 5, halfway through the 15th.
Yeah, Liam Patterson White just bowling really, really nicely, changing his pace quite a lot here to keep the batsman guessing.
It's in now. Revis punches it into the offside. That's Ben Martindale on as a substitute fielder. Didn't see him come on, so I didn't see who went off. But
Joe Clark went off.
So not so rudderless then, without their captain. Next ball is pushed back towards the bowler, and couldn't really get across there with Will Sutherland obviously desperate to keep his back really down the ground, and that'll go for 4. That's a nice shot from the Australian. 136 for 5 at the end of the over. So we had 8 from that over. Patterson White now 3 overs, 2 for 19. If you're just joining us here on BBC Radio Nottingham at Trent Bridge, Yorkshire won the toss, opted to bat first, got off to a very fast start indeed. Adam Lyth and David Milan putting on 83 for the first wicket. Adam Lyth out to Dylan Pennington for 29. David Milan out to Conor McCurr for 58. Since then, James Wharton to Calvin Harrison for 11. And then Liam Patterson-White has picked up the wickets of Harry Duke for 1 and Will Luxton for 13. 5 to go in the company of Carl van Vollenhoven.
Harrison's bowler's fourth and final is into Rivers, who's hitting this one straight down the ground. And it's just below us, but I think it's gone all the way, and it has. Well, slightly slower through the air, and Rivers just with a lofted shot just beats Freddie McCann, who came herring away down below us, heard his footsteps pounding on the grass, and goes for 6. So 6 off the first. Harrison then goes quicker into the wickets and picks up a dot ball, so good comeback. Rivers on to 13, 142 for 5.
Harrison's last over, by the way, this one.
Harrison then goes a little bit slower. It's into Rivers' pads. Should come through for a leg by. 143 for 5. So Harrison's been really economical here. Harrison in. Quicker into the wicket, cut away. Do the tidying up out there.
Really good from Jack Haynes. Excellent fielding, keeps them to 1. Did really well in front of the Fox Road stand. Clean pick up, got the ball in the air quickly and with power to the non-striker's end. Put a break on the attempt to come back for 2.
Harrison in. Swept away, that will be a boundary. That is a really nice shot by Rivers. We saw a lofted drive earlier on in the over. We've now seen a glorious sweep shot. 10 from the bat of Rivers alone. So 148 for 5, 1 to come.
Yeah, crisply struck.
Harrison. Tad expensive the last over, but 1 for 29. His figures are really well bowled. So the end of 16, it's 149 for 5.
Yeah, 4 to go. 10 and overs going to leave Notts with a chase of 190. Patterson-White had the ball, and I see Joe Clark's back on the field now, and Joe Clark's going to make a change. Going to bring Daniel Sams back. Australian left arm quick. Harrison 4 overs, 1 for 29 his figures. Sams 2 overs, none for 21.
Yeah, Daniel Sams obviously going to bowl his last 2 overs, so he'll bowl over 17 and well, the last 2 overs from that end, so over 17 and 19. Be interesting to see if the change-up will be Liam Patterson-White from this end to have the batters swing away to the bigger leg side boundary. But Rivers on strike now. He's 18 off 12, 149 for 5. Sams around the wicket, is into the wicket, and just chopped out to sweeper for 1. And that will bring up Yorkshire's 150, which comes in the 17th over. Going along at just under 9.3 and over. They started off at about 12.5. So Notts have done really well to bring this back.
Pennington's getting himself ready as well. He's got 2 overs left. May well be Sams and Pennington to bowl out from here.
I think you're right, as Sams goes into the wicket, and this is pulled down the ground for 1, and Rivers has done really well to come back for 2, and he does. So this is really good running by the Yorkshire pair. He can't pick up a boundary. Try scamper hard between the wickets. There probably was always 2. Timed it not so well. Stopped just at the edge of the 30-yard circle. Matthew Montgomery's out there, has got to run in 30 yards to the 30-yard circle and throw it in. So always 2. Good batting. Sutherland still on strike, facing fellow Australian, and can't get off strike. Or can he? Oh, direct hit. I think he was a goner. Joe Clark, well, it's almost tip and run, and Sams, I think, has just said that to Sutherland, saying, listen, we're meant to look after each other here. Help me out, make sure my figures look good. Slower ball wide of the wicket, hit out to cover, and they've sprinted, and Joe Clark just couldn't throw the stumps down. If you did, I think Revis was out by 3 or 4 metres, not even in the picture.
Very, very chancy, wasn't it?
A tidy so far. Sams goes slower ball, and this is hammered down the ground for 1. I like the plans here from Sams. He's got third man and fine leg in the ring, so probably not going to be pace on at all. And he's going slow balls into the wicket with deep backward square, cow corner, long on, long off, and sweeper out. And then he's going slower balls nice and full. So he's bowling to his field. It's exactly what you can ask. He's only gone for a handful here with 2 to go. Sams goes pace on, and I tell you what, Sutherland's nearly been murdered. They come back for 2. They've gone pace on, and well, I can only say evasive action was needed there, because 30 centimetres to the right, and I tell you what, first aid would be out on the field.
Yeah, there was one at, I know you didn't watch it, there was one at Lord's today during the Australian innings. Somebody was robbed of 4 runs as they blasted it straight down the ground into their non-striker. Can't remember who it was now.
This is in, and this has gone straight up into the air. Daniel Sams calls, says, I'll have it, and I'll take it. So Sams picks up his first, and there's a big celebration there from Daniel Sams. Maybe it was frustration, passion, but Sams picks up the wicket, goes slower ball into the wicket. Sutherland just can't get underneath it and top edges it, and Sams wins the battle of the Australians and picks up a wicket. It's 156 for 6, and not just keep chipping away at the Yorkshire batting lineup, and that's a good breakthrough.
I suspect that's what he was most enjoying or most happy about. In fact, it was a fellow Australian that he got out. Here's Dom Bess coming in at 156 for 6. So 7 and 8 out there. There's Jaffa Chauhan, Jack White, and Will O'Rourke left in the dugout down below us somewhere.
Yeah.
Dom Bessu skippered Yorkshire in the recent to Notts. It's going to be Liam Patterson-White to have his last over. He's got figures of 2 for 19 from 3.
I like this move, a little bit of spin from this end for Calvin Harrison. So Revis on strike to LPW, and he's getting a dot ball first ball. So good work. Joe Clark really nice and tight there, out extra clever, making life a little bit difficult for Revis just to drop it into the offside and get a single. Patterson-White wearing number 22 is getting Revis to push it out to mid-on, and Dom Bess is going to come back for 2 and will get back for 2. It's good running just in between the gap between long on and cow corner, and Dom Bess scampers back for 2. He's quick between the wickets, is Dom Bess, who's safe to say has really enjoyed his spell at Yorkshire since making the move from Somerset a couple seasons ago. LPW quicker through the air, and it's beat Revis, all ends up there. Revis going back to a ball he probably should have been forward to. That one just on the speed gun there, showing to be a 8 mile an hour quicker than his normal stock ball. So nice change up that from Liam Patterson-White. This one much lower through the air, and almost Revis just having to wait for that and push it out to cow corner for a single. 159 for 6 now. Revis on to 23. Best yet to face a ball. So well, they've got 2 covers here. They know Dom Bess potentially can. Maybe that's he's trying to protect his reverse sweep, but 2 covers to try to keep Dom Bess on strike. They can't. Pushed out to mid-on for 1. So Bess off the mark. 160 for 6. 1 ball left.
Yeah, this stage of the innings, though, Notts won't mind singles. 160 for 6. 13 balls left in the innings.
Yeah, 1 ball left in this Liam Patterson-White over, and This is hammered through Joe Clark at extra cover for one. Hit quite firmly. Be a little bit disappointed with that, but nonetheless, no damage really. Again, a very tidy over 5 coming from it and a very tidy spell. Well bowled Liam Patterson-White. It's 161 for 6 after 18.
Yeah, 4 overs, 2 for 24 for Inner. I mean, he'll only be able to bowl 3 then. So Montgomery's had 3, Sams has had 3, McCur's had 2, Harrison and Patterson-White have bowled out. This is Pennington's 3rd. Imagine it will be Daniel Sams to bowl the 20th and final over of the innings. 161 for 6. Run a ball gets Yorkshire to 173. Not something would take that from here. Yorkshire will be looking for a little more.
Pennington, 1 for 19 in his 2. Comes tearing in from the Stuart Broad end and is getting hit out to extra cover. Sweeper for 1. Nice start to the over. So Revis moves to 25, score 162. Not looking to keep it under 180.
Yeah, Revis has just got down to the other end and then he's made that signal to Dom Bess. He's bowling out the back of his hands. He's sort of turning his wrist 2 or 3 times and then advances a step or 2 closer to Dom Bess so he can tell him the very same.
So Pennington in. Bessie looks to he's done well as well, hasn't he? He's gone on the scoop and he's scooped it away for a boundary. Pennington going into the wicket. Bess originally walked across his stumps looking to conventional lap it and then adjusted nicely and lifted it over Tom Moores and he picks up a boundary. So it's a nice option that from Bess. It's only just got it over Tom Moores though, but it will work in the end.
What if you come on and you've had a couple of new batters there and you start the over with a googly and then you can see them chat after that ball and say, watch him, he's bowling googlies. Do you bowl another one then, or do you not?
No, I go leggy just to try and prove a point. It's not all I can bowl, mate. Not all I can bowl. Just a change in field now. So mid-off comes up to Dom Bess and fine leg goes back, mid-off into the circle. In and he goes reverse and I think he's caught it. He is caught it. That's a great catch. Dom Bess is absolutely, he's very unhappy.
Look pad to me. Look pad to me.
And I tell you what, Dom Bess is going absolutely nowhere.
He's just asking knots. Look pad to me. I've got to be perfectly honest. The finger went straight up from the umpire. Not celebrate. It's a good catch. Good take from Tom Moores, we should say. Good catch, but he caught the ball.
It's been rescinded. The wicket's been rescinded. So what's happened is that the square leg umpire has gone and said that's come off the thigh pad.
Yeah.
And obviously Dom Bess is well within his right to stand there. He was absolutely furious. His arms were in the air saying, you know...
I'd have stood there as well, but is he? If he has prevailed.
Correct. He wasn't out. They've come to the correct decision in the end. Pennington in and Bess is hammering this one through the covers just to sort of add insult the injury.
You knew that would happen. That always happens.
That's cricket, folks.
It usually happens after a drop catch, doesn't it? Or a referral goes against you or something. Next ball's hit away for 4. Dom Bess shrugs off the... it's wrong to call it controversy, but it was given out, stood there, but it was very clear, I would imagine, that the umpire, I think, umpire Ashraf, just wondered if he got it right and went and had a chat.
And this one is pulled away, and this time Dom Bess is out, and he does have to go. We can't stand and wait now. So Pennington, good comeback, and he does eventually get his man. Dom Bess looking to swing it away to the leg side. Picks out Calvin Harrison, who I still, to this day, have not seen him put one down. He's such a good fielder. Dom Bess has got to go for 9. Yorkshire lose their 7th. It's 170 for 7.
Well, in the end, I think justice sorted itself out in Dylan Pennington's mind, at least. He's got his man. Dom Bess got 4 more runs than he would have had he been told to go a couple of deliveries earlier. I can understand Dom Bess looking for the big runs, but again it was a shortish ball that he didn't really control, did it? He could have played that. I mean, there's acres and acres and acres of space on the leg side. He just needed to roll his wrist a little more, but instead he tried to take on the big hit and clear the ropes and hit straight down Harrison's throat. Yeah, you would have thought just get Revis on strike and let him do the damage.
Here he is, Pennington.
New man's Jaffa Chauhan.
Into Chauhan, who's hitting this out to extra cover sweeper and will steal the strike, which Notts will be very pleased about. So 171 for 7 after 19. 1 over to go. Chauhan in his bright red boots will start off the over, and potentially maybe Daniel Sams can bowl 1 or 2 dots and keep the in-batter Revis on strike.
Joe Clark's gone off again.
I wonder if he's okay.
Yeah, Ben Martindale's on the field. He's not like Joe Clark in any form to go off, and you know he's certainly not going off seeking the counsel of the coaching staff or gone off to put his pads on early. Must be a little bit of an issue of some sort there with the skipper. Joe Clark off the field. 1 over to go then. Daniel Sams, 3 overs, 1 for 28. He's going to bowl it.
Daniel Sams round the wicket to Chauhan, who's hooking this away, and it's out to deep square where Conor McCurr was prowling. Gets a bounce and throws it in. 1 run, 172 for 7.
Yeah, Conor McCurr's night didn't get any better really, did it? 2 overs, 1 for 32, although the wicket he did get was David Milan right at the end of his second over. But again, a couple of expensive overs from Conor McCurr.
Revis 25 off 20. Can they get him off strike here? Just slower ball. Is a slower ball, and they have got him exactly off strike as he reaches for one that he potentially could have let go and get a wide. Comes out to cover. 1 run, 173 for 7. Notts would take 6 singles off this over. Maybe swing and a miss here. Grab a cheeky dot ball. Sam's 1 for 30 in his spell so far. Been fairly economical. His second over really hurt him. David Milan got hold of him a bit. He's in here, goes full and wide, and exactly is a swing and a miss. Through to Tom Moores. Maybe I can read the future. Test championship, please go 3 days.
Well, this is all your newfound knowledge. You should tell the listeners that Kyle actually played for the MCC yesterday. So
I did.
You're all now part of the old Egg and Bacon Club, aren't you?
I will be after I've done my probation years. So looking forward to going down and watching there in the pavilion. We're back here at Trent Bridge, and Sams goes slower ball, and Chauhan is hitting this straight up in the air, and Lyndon James takes the catch. Lovely. Most importantly, Revis will still not be on strike, and it is a dot ball. So Sams picks up his second wicket. Chauhan's got to go for 2. Sams picks up his second. There's 173 for 8.
Yeah, I mean, this is still a good score. This is going to take some chasing down. Yorkshire spinners, I think, will enjoy bowling on here. Don Bess and Jaffa Chauhan. They've got plenty of pace. Will O'Rourke and Jack White in particular.
Yeah, they've.
I wonder if we'll see Adam Lythe bowl. Adam Lythe has a 5 for on this ground in this competition against Notts. In fact, he is the holder of Yorkshire's best ever T20 figures against Notts for Yorkshire. Back in 5 for 30. Back in the COVID year 2020, when there was nobody in the ground except me and 1 or 2 others, he took 5 for 43.
Will O'Rourke's the new batter, and well, they're going to scamper through for a leg bye after O'Rourke just trying to hook it away, misses it.
Just a bye.
Just a bye, beg your pardon, not a leg bye. Hasn't touched any of it, so Revis will be on strike with 2 balls left. Only, 3 from this over. Is that 1 ball left, or is it? Should be 1 ball left.
Yeah, 1 ball.
1 ball left, so Revis will face the last ball, 174 for 8.
If he hits it for 6, I want you to pretend you're a darts referee shouting the score.
This is in, and it's a edge that has been put down.
Did it carry?
I'm not quite sure if it's carried. Tom Moore's diving full stretch forward. Can't quite hold on to it, but at the end of it, it's only a single. So 175 for 8 after 20 overs, and after the start that Yorkshire got. Joe Clark and his men will be very, very pleased with that. Calvin Harrison and Liam Patterson-White pulled it back in the middle overs after Conor McCurr got the big wicket of David Milan. But at the end of 20 overs, Yorkshire post a very good score of 175 for 8. And don't get me wrong, it will take some chasing, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, 175 for 8. I think Notts will be the happier of the two, but I don't think Yorkshire will be unhappy, if that makes sense. They've got a score on the board. They'll know how best they can go about trying to defend here. Joe Clark and his well-being and welfare, I guess, is a little bit of a mystery to us. Let's hope that the Notts skipper is okay. Now, normally at this time we would hand back to BBC Radio Nottingham studios, but for reasons that, well, I don't know, but for reasons that we won't expand upon, at the moment we're not able to hand back to Adam, so we'll stay here for the time being and just talk you through bits and pieces as the Notts mascot, the Squirrel, Nuts the Squirrel, comes out, and the commercial and marketing team will no doubt bring out one or two youngsters, and they'll have one or two games for them to see if they can win a prize or two. 175.
Okay, we will rejoin your commentary team very, very shortly, but Ollie Stone joins me once again. We've been sat on the balcony watching there. 6 overs power play, 75 for 0, no wickets.
It'll start, but when you're bowling at 2 world-class players of Milan and Live, we probably didn't bowl the balls we wanted to, and they're going to put you away. But the way we clawed it back was obviously very pleasing, and the way the spin sort of came into the game might be a little bit worrying in terms of how much it spun. Obviously they've got a couple of good quality spinners, but I guess that would be what we talk about up there, is if we can play that spin well and get off to a start like they have, then we're right in the game. And I think it's like I knew what sounds like I knew what I was on about with the old 180, but obviously we'd have taken that from the start that they had. But yeah, it wasn't the greatest start, but we'll take confidence by how we pulled it back.
I wondered how long it would take you to say, oh, I guess 180. Talking about spin, we actually opened with Matthew Montgomery. You don't very often see, especially in the power play, spin as a whole, but to even open with that is, what would Joe Clark been thinking with opening with Monty?
I guess maybe straight to Mull up there that they maybe thought that they were so strong against the pace that to try and mix it up and obviously disrupt their flow and maybe get an early wicket in, trying to make them force an error by playing across the line or something like that. I mean, he bowled a good first over, and it's always that thought of, do we go again? Obviously batters can get used to him, but yeah, obviously the way the scene went, you might in hindsight go, no, we'll give him another, but yeah, no, he started off really well, and I think maybe they highlighted that they really like the pace on the ball, so they went with Monty to start with.
I mean, and they're two experienced players out there, aren't they? It's hard enough, as you said, to bowl in the power play anyway, but when you're coming up against players like Adam Lyth and Darren Milan, no offence to them, but they've been around the block, they know what they're doing. They've played at this ground, in white ball cricket. It's tough, isn't it? So you've also got to realise that you're facing players that are going to come after you, and they did that.
Yeah, and they're going to put the bad balls away, and I think we'll take credit from how we bounce back. Obviously, it's never nice when you start like that, but the way we bounced back and the plans we went to, few change-ups, went a bit wider. I think we'll be happy with how we finished off. But yeah, no, I think overall we'll be happy with that score.
And you talk about clawing it back. We've mentioned about the power play, but if we look at the halfway point, I think we ended that sort of 4-over stint after the power play 30 for 2. So it just shows you, quick wickets after the power play often does happen. But yes, you look at power play as a whole, but it's also, there's different phases in the T20 game.
There is, and we always say wickets do, it's obvious, but wickets stem the flow of runs a bit, and the more new batters you can get in, the more you can squeeze and limit those boundary balls. Before you know it, you've soon got 2 or 3 quiet overs, shall we say, and then the batters are going, I need to get on with it here. Like, it's becoming more towards the end of the innings, and they're thinking, I need to take more high risk options rather than feeling like they can just knock it around, get themselves in with hitting that bad ball. So if you don't win that first 6 overs, like as we've seen tonight, it isn't the end of the world. It's then how do you bounce back and how do you limit those runs. And I feel like the way we closed out tonight was brilliant, and a lot better than maybe we've done in other games. We've probably flipped it in terms of not started off well tonight and closed it out better, whereas in other games we started off well and not closed it out. So I mean, I think from a group point of view, it will take more from closing it out better tonight than actually worrying that we probably didn't get it right in the first 6, because that's where we've been good in the previous games.
We'll look ahead to kind of like our response coming up very, very shortly in a second, but just obviously looking at the bowling figures, you know, it's the kind of wickets are spread around there. I mean, you know, Connor took a harsh first over, really. You know, like I said to you, what are you kind of thinking there as a bowler after I think he got took for 22 in his first over, but then he comes back, bowls from a different end and gets a wicket. So it kind of shows you, doesn't it, really? And then it's spread around, you know. Samsey got a couple, LPW got a couple. Is that good when it's sort of spread around between your bowlers?
It is, and obviously you've got your bowlers that you tend to go to at certain phases of the game, but it's good that everyone's chipping in, and the way Connor bounced back from that over to pick up that vital wicket of Milan was obviously brilliant, and it shows his character as a person. And you saw the big roar and aggression that he showed. Could easily go up in the air, caught, happy days, and no one questions it. So yeah, it's good that everyone putting their hand up at different times, and it gives Clarkey a lot of options to be able to go to them in different phases of the game and not think, oh my god, like I can't go to him, or I feel like I can only bowl these bowlers in certain situations. So yeah, very pleasing, and like I say, the way we closed it out, I know I keep going on, is obviously is pleasing for us, and to limit them to that score, I think yeah, is very pleasing.
So let's just let's look at the chase that we've got to do. You know, target of 176. You mentioned about, you know, spin taking an effect in that middle part of the game. What will Joe Clark, Lyndon James, Jack Haynes and Freddie McCann, umpires are making their way out, so you know we'll hand over very, very shortly. But what will those, you know, top 4, top 5 batters be thinking?
I mean, they'll just be aggressive. I know that for a fact. We say about playing our game, and if we feel like there's a bowler that we can take down, people will do it. And Clarkey maybe took a little bit longer to get going in the last game, but you know, with him he can catch up, and the way Elge plays, he can be destructive. So I feel like, yeah, they'll be on the attack and try and make use of this power play.
Yeah. Right, the umpires are making their way out now. Joe Clark, Lyndon James making their way down the balcony steps, so we're literally minutes away from the response. The target is 176. We'll be back at the end of the game to review everything that's about to happen. 176 is the target for the Outlaws.
The Blaze ending up 169 for 9, and in the men's matches, the other men's matches taking place this evening, there's just 3 games going on in all in the North Group. Obviously you know what's happening here up at Durham. Durham made a 168 for 6. They're playing against Derbyshire Falcons, who come to Trent Bridge, of course, on Friday evening. Durham's top scorer, wicketkeeper Ollie Robinson, who made 70. And the other game is the group leaders, Northants Steelbacks, down at Wantage Road. They made 184 for 6. That's against the Bears. Half century for, you might have to help me here, Matthew Britska.
Yeah, you said that perfectly.
Made 53. And all that has done is got us through the 7 or 8 minutes that the players were off the field, because here they come. Joe Clark is ready, fit and able to open the innings for Notts. Lyndon James is with him. Notts in the predominantly green with the gold, Yorkshire in the light blue and the dark blue. They're out there as well. 170, what was it, Kyle? 175 for 8. Notts need 179 in percentage. What chance have they got?
Look, I think they'll be very happy with that. I think percentage-wise, I'd say 65%, 70% chance that they can do this, but it will be very much reliant on the man that is a taking strike here, Joe Clark. You know, he's the captain. He's got an absolutely great record. Strike rate of 143. He's played a lot of matches, plays around the world, plays in the Big Bash. So he will hold a big key here. Joe Clark is going to be starting us off on strike as
Jack White, I think, with ball in hand.
Jack White with ball in hand. Yeah, it is Jack White. So Joe Clark, and we all set for Notts, hopefully, to the Trent Bridge faithfuls' delight, getting on to winning ways. This is just pushed out to cover. I mean, mid-off, I beg your pardon. And Joe Clark is off the mark straight away. So 1 for no loss. Yeah, White into the attack, opening the bowling for Yorkshire. Obviously a replacement for Adam Mills. Clark.
Matt Mills.
Matt Mills, beg your pardon.
Former Notts man. Looking forward to seeing Matt this evening. Left Trent Bridge 7 years or so ago now. Went to Kent initially, now up at Headingley.
Someone similar to Daniel Sams, played a lot of T20 Blast cricket. White in here, and it's nicked, and it's almost carried to Jaffa Chauhan, who all you can describe it as is a fly slip on the 30-yard circle. If he was at a conventional third slip, if this was championship cricket, Lyndon James would probably be walking back to the pavilion for a golden duck. White, quite slippery, quite quick.
I'm not sure if he qualifies as a slice man, or you've got to actually be down at third to be the slice man.
Yeah.
Fergus O'Neill, our Australian, was very keen on that sort of line being called the slice man.
So White fires this down the left side, and diving is just rubbing salt into the wounds.
Or we will think he's a wag, won't he?
Yeah, Jack White with well, they're really in at the moment, these mullets. He's got lovely flowing hair. Little hairband as he comes tearing in from the Stuart Broad end, runs in fast, hammers this one down, and Joe Clark is, well, Dave Bracegirdle's favourite position there. Slice man. Gets down there for 1. 4 for no loss. 3 balls bowled. Joe Clark 2. Lyndon James yet to get off the mark. Yeah, so a few people just wandering back to their seats after the interval. Gone to get some food or some beverages. Floodlights start to take a little bit of effect here. White in, and Lyndon James plays a miss. A little bit of extra bounce from White. So goes through to the keeper, no run. Still not a cloud in the sky. It's not in pursuit of 175. Earlier on, Yorkshire won the toss, called correctly. They elected to have a bowl. Whenever Joe Clark has won the toss, they've elected to bat first. So usually not like defending. Today they're going to have to chase. They chased here against the Bears and won. They chased against the Falcons and won. Can they chase against Yorkshire and win? This one, middle stump, gone. Out the ground. Lyndon James trying to pull one that hasn't quite got up, and middle stump has ended halfway back to Harry Duke. Notts lose their first, they're 4 for 1, and this has not been an ideal start for the Outlaws.
Yeah, I don't know if he got a bottom edge onto the stumps, but it's the middle stump that's castled. Lyndon James, Yorkshire getting the early wicket there. Just looking at the umpire, just the far end, getting the back gauge out, just checking Joe Clark's bat, make sure that's okay. There's a replay. Those of you watching the pictures might see now. Oh, I don't necessarily think from that angle anyway that I've just seen that he's got any bat on it. Maybe kept a whisker lower than Lyndon was expecting, but he's gone for naught. And here comes certainly one of the success stories for Nottinghamshire this season so far in both competitions, this and the County Championship. He's having a really good year. Jack Haynes, sort of 18, a couple of centuries in the County Championship, been playing very nicely indeed, the former Worcestershire man.
Yeah, Jack Haynes in some really good form. 650s in this format of the game. It's his highest score come in the first game of this season in a fantastic run chase. These two put on a pretty good partnership after Lyndon James was departed. Can they do that again? White into Haynes, goes wide and has pushed it straight to cover, and he's gone first ball. As soft a dismissal as you possibly can get. A nonchalant, nothing shot by Jack Haynes. Almost just left his bat there, pushed at it, and he's found cover. And he's got to go. Wharton takes the catch, and Notts are in all sorts of trouble. They're 4 for 2 after the first over, and White's got a second.
Well, it's going to be Freddie McCann to come in. Won't have to face the hat-trick ball just yet because it is the end of the over. 4 for 2, but Jack White must be very much enjoying himself with 2 wickets in 2 balls there at the end of the over. There's been some astonishing bowling feats in this competition already. I saw the other night that Ben Sanderson of Northants took 6 for 8, including a hat-trick against Worcestershire. Best figures so far this season. Been 1 or 2 hat-tricks up and down the country. Jack White with 2 in 2. It's going to be Dominic Best, so trial by spin already for Notts and Joe Clark.
Yeah, Dom Best into the attack. Right arm off spinner. It's gone pretty well this season. 2 for 29, 2 for 25. Just Joe Clark ready now. So Bess in, and this is pushed out to deep mid wicket for 1. Yeah, and then 1 for 26 and then 2 for 25. So always takes a wicket. He's going to be bowling to the left-handed Freddie McCann. So Freddie McCann played against Derbyshire in the win, finished not out, and he made his debut obviously in this fixture last year up at Headingley. This in quick by Dom Bess.
Second Yorkshire wicket. Yorkshire did it in the very first over.
Bess in, also quick and pushed out to mid wicket for 1. There's a lovely little smell of food drifting into our commentary box. It smells absolutely fantastic. I don't know where it's coming from, but whoever you are, it smells brilliant. You've done what smells like a good job. Back to the cricket, 6 for 2. Clark on strike. Bess in, goes quick at Clark, and oh, good. I don't quite know how the ball's ended up there, but it's cannoned into Clark's pads. Clark went walking forward, then walking back. Dukes run forward, flicked the ball back at the stumps, and it's a dot ball. But it looked like a bit of a tangle. Bess in, goes a tad slow and fuller, and this is pushed out to mid-wicket for a single.
So Notts have got to rebuild very early on here, losing those 2 wickets. Yorkshire went in the other direction. They set off like a firework. They were hitting 4s and 6s all over the place, had 75 on the board at the end of the 6-over power play, and then the innings sort of petered out a little bit.
This one is gorgeous from Freddie McCann. 2 full from Dom Bess, and this is driven handsomely through the covers for 4. Lovely, 11 for 2 after 2.
Yeah, 75 from the first 6 overs, and then 175 after 20. So Notts will desperately be keen to go in the other direction. Not the biggest score in the world, so they don't have to go absolutely recklessly, but they really can't afford to lose one of these for a while. I always say there's a high probability you'll lose if you lose 3 wickets in the power play. 11 for 2, and now Jack White's on a hat-trick.
Well, hat-trick ball. I wonder, I'm not quite sure David Milan has sort of picked up on this, but hat-trick ball here for White, and it's nicked away over third man. That will be four. Well, if Joe Clark had any indication it was hat-trick ball, I don't think he could care less. He's danced down the wicket and tried to slam this over the top, and it's got to come off a thick outside edge over short third man for a boundary. So 2 boundaries in 2 balls, one at the last ball of the second and first ball.
2 gullies.
Why not?
It was a hat-trick ball.
Why not? White into Clark, who's fired this down the leg side, and that will be a wide. So any touch on that from Joe Clark, and that was 4 more. This one just losing a sense of direction, firing it down the leg side, and Harry Duke diving full strength to his left, manages to keep hold of this. 16 for 2. So Clark on 8, McCann on 5. Clark gone pretty nicely, 58, 12, 1 and 31 so far. This is in defended and will be a dot ball. Clark just defending this off the back foot, running in and just looking to bowl that heavy length, banging it in back of a length. The same stage, so at the end of the 3rd over, Yorkshire were 35 for no loss. So whatever will happen, Notts will be 2 wickets worse off than what Yorkshire were. So not an ideal start. However, as Davis said, if they can just sort of build here, don't want to be losing a 3rd in the power play, putting yourself under a lot of pressure. This is again Joe Clark looking to dance down the wicket, and this is just angled back into the midriff of Joe Clark, and just seen on the screen there, he's just gone, ooh, that's sore. There'll be a few shouts of don't rub it out there, I'm sure, but that's never pleasant.
So no hat-trick for Jack White, no hat-trick down at the Oval for Kirsty Gordon, who's just taken 2 in 2. Surrey women 2 for 3, a wicket in the first over for Cassidy McCarthy, and then 2 in the next for Kirsty Gordon. Surrey women 2 for 3 after the Blaze made 169.
White in and Clark's gone reverse lap. Lovely shot, that will be 4. Fantastic options. Decided dancing down the wicket is a little bit difficult. I'm going to lap you, and does it brilliantly. Clark moves to 12, score moves to 20 for 2. Really glorious shot, really well executed. He went very early, did Joe Clark, almost showing his hand to the bowler and saying, over to you, what can you do? I will adjust, and well, he's adjusted really well.
I'm not sure what this tune is, other than it's Luke Littler's walk-on song, and I don't know if it is the darts or if everybody knows it. I think it's also popular in the wrestling, but everybody dancing to that.
And this one is lifted high, and handsome for 6. Flick off the legs by Joe Stand. 26 for 2, and Clark moves to 18 this over. Going for 14 now, 15 including the wide.
Yeah, and just remember, I don't know if there's an issue with Joe Clark or not, but twice during the Yorkshire batting innings, Joe Clark, who is the Notts Outlaws skipper, remember, twice he actually went off the field. So whether there is an issue or two there, we're not sure, but there was certainly no issue with that one, apart from the fact I think he's lost the ball. He's gone for a drink in the Larwood and Vose.
Yeah, I think it may have. Won't be the first this evening, and most certainly won't be the last to go for a drink in the Larwood and Vose.
Well, we've seen some big hits on this ground. Moses Enriquez against Warwickshire put one into the car park, and hitting in the other direction, Adam Hose hit a big one the other day, and in fact he put one as well, where this one has just gone. So there's been some big hits on this ground already in this season's competition. 26 for 2.
Yeah, there'll be a new ball, so they did not retrieve that. Maybe it's just fallen in between the gap between the Larwood and Vose and Fox Road stand.
I think the button's come off his volume control button, because the music just suddenly has got louder and louder. Just trying to generate a bit of excitement, whereas I think Joe Clark is maybe capable of doing that all on his own.
Yeah, it's that shot has sort of brought about a change in the field. So there's no slice man anymore. There's a normal conventional sweeper has gone out. Final ball of the white over. He's in here and goes short, and you just can't bowl there to Joe Clark because it's 6. He's caught one-handed in the crowd. That is the highlight of the evening so far. If that was in South Africa, it would probably be R1 million, which is only about £25, but goodness me, what a catch that is.
A one-handed catch in the crowd in the Fox Road stand, and it was caught by somebody with plenty of white seats all around. I mean, it is quite a full stand, but we're able to follow the fly to that and saw him catch it wonderfully. Really good stuff.
Fantastic catch, fantastic shot, and a fantastic over. After all of that, we forgot to give you the score. It's 32 for 2 after 3.
Yeah, and at the same stage, we were saying live that Milan have, I remember saying, going at 12-0, but 36 on the board from the first 3, so not very much in distance. Early Zealand international, Will O'Rourke.
Yeah, Will O'Rourke wearing the number 6 from the Radcliffe Road end. He's into Freddie McCann, who's flicking this away for... Oh, well done. It's really good work.
Has he stopped that?
I'm actually not sure if he has stopped that. I think a couple of the fans out there don't think he has, but they're applauding him.
Yep.
The umpires are just looking over. They've just shrugged.
Steve O'Shaughnessy doesn't know. Can you tell? Look, he's waving. Can you tell me?
It's a 4. So well done. It's really good work out there. I'm not quite sure who is out there, but running around to his left-hand side. Just almost bounced, jumped over the ropes, tapped it back, landed inside the field of play. And only get back for 2. So McCann moves to 7, 34 for 2. Will it walk in? And this one has gone away. Is it going to plug, or they're going to double up again? They're going to get back for 3. This is good running. So Freddie McCann comes back. So 5 from the first 2. Not from a lack of trying. Freddie McCann has tried to replicate what David Milan did in this over.
He's got the binoculars. The first bit of brilliant work was Matthew Revis. He's just turned round obligingly, shown me his number 77 in front of the Larwood Vos over there, but give him a name check, 'cause it was a really good bit of work.
Yeah, Matthew Brevis doing some good work, and Will Sutherland doing the other bit of work, just diving and keeping it in. So 5 from the first 2 balls from the New Zealand's opening over. Brings Joe Clark onto strike. She's 24 off 11, 37 for 2. O'Rourke in, goes full and gets pushed down the ground, where Sutherland's diving again, this time to his right, and sunglasses go everywhere.
Yeah, mind your glasses, Chief. Nearly trod on them there.
Yeah, they're expensive, those are, no doubt.
A bit more expensive than mine off Newark Market, that's for sure.
Yeah, gets through for 1, 38 for 2. Clark 25, run rate 10.86, so ahead of the required run rate, which was 8.36. Really long run up this by O'Rourke into McCann, who's high and handsome down the ground. That will be 4. You're not catching that, Bess. Trickles away to the boundary. Freddie McCann, glorious shot. Stand and deliver. And you're right, the DJ really is cranking up the volume, but so are not. 42 for 2.
Nice looking shot from Freddie, who made 48 on debut. The end of last season. It was a miserable one for Notts Outlaws. They finished bottom of the group, bottom of the North group. But took Yorkshire down in the final match of the season, gave Freddie McCann and Sammy King a debut. Both delivered.
O'Rourke in, goes short. McCann is pulling this away into the gap. It's not going to get 4 as Adam Lyth does the tidying up round there, so they get back for 2. 12 from this over with 1 ball remaining. So again, another bigger over that is required. Not looking to, get a win on the board and put themselves in contention. Not everyone in the North group is playing tonight, but it will most certainly put them level on points with current 4th place Worcester, who on 12. Change in action around the wicket for O'Rourke, who goes short to McCann, who's tried to hit this out of Trent Bridge, and bottom half of the bat out to Lyth, all on the ground for 1. So the end of that, 13 from it. It's 40 5 for 2 after 4. Notts just falling slightly behind that over, but it was still a really good over in the context of this game.
Yeah, you know, there's falling behind and there's falling behind. Here at Trent Bridge on the board, we always have, which I won't say it's unique. There may be other places that do it, but one of the very few grounds that actually gives a Duckworth-Lewis comparison right the way through every single ball. So Notts are ahead at the moment. They say they should have 39 at this stage. Well, they're on 45 for 2, but where Notts are behind is at the same stage. The Yorkshire side had rattled up 58 after 4 overs, but then had that big over when Milan took Conor McCurr for 22.
Don Bess into the attack. Going to go to Freddie McCann, who's just flicking this out into mid-wicket, where they'll scamper back for 2. So it's a good player of spinners, Freddie McCann. Don Bess will be wary. Freddie McCann can play a very good reverse sweep. Everyone up on the offside. I'm sure that is something that he is thinking about. All on the ring. Don Bess is bowling quite quickly through the air. This is in, and Freddie McCann looking to give himself a lot of room and hammer this through the offsides off an inside edge out to deep square for 1. 48 for 2. Brings Joe Clark back onto strike. 20 for Joe Clark, long on cow corner out to a short leg side boundary. You fancy anything in Joe Clark. A slog sweep is his option. He can play that shot. So down the ground, he hits it hard. Don Bess in, and Joe Clark slog sweeps it, and that's no one stopping that. That's 4. I did say anything remotely in Joe Clark's half, Joe Clark's going to have a swing of the willow, and he has. Don Bess goes for 4. Joe Clark moves to 29 and brings up the Outlaws 50. It's come off 4.3 overs. So had a pretty good lick this. It's a lovely shot by Joe Clark. Just pushed long on even wider now, so he's almost in between cow corner and that. And this one fired straight, and I fancy this is sliding down the leg side. Joe Clark just walking down the stumps, across the stumps, I beg your pardon, and trying to play this away past square leg, but firing down.
Just wonder if Yorkshire lose this. They might just want to reflect on the 12th and 13th over when they lost 3 wickets in 9 balls for just 4 runs.
This next one pushed into the covers for a dot ball. Yeah,
Wharton, Duke and Luxton all fell in that period. Harry Duke was he was caught behind, wasn't he? But the other 2 just tamely chipped up in the air.
This one is slog sweep, and it's not pretty but effective. Joe Clark looking to go for 6, and it's come off a thickish inside edge. It beats square leg and will race away for 4. Joe Clark looking to better his first ball that he faced, and he's got another 4. Again, another good over. It's 11 off it. It's 56 for 2 after 5. Not Outlaws going along at over 10 and over, going along at just over 11. And they are set up really, really nicely. They require 120 more to talk you through the next 5. Is going to be Dave Bracegirdle.
Yeah, Joe Clark, Freddie McCann adding 52 from just 24 balls so far. Just the comparison there is that Adam Lyth and David Milan did something similar. They, in fact, slightly quicker. They put on 52 from 22 right at the start of the Yorkshire innings. The first 50 coming up very quickly. O'Rourke's going to go round the wicket to 20-year-old Freddie, and for whatever reason, the ball isn't released. Whether he, well, just tapping down on the ground as if he, I don't know if this will be a 7-ball over, even though he's done nothing wrong. We haven't yet started, but he ran all the way in, just didn't let go of it, and he comes again. It is a lengthy approach, and Freddie McCann just trying to do a Phil Mickelson there, a left-handed drive 300 yards down the fairway, but he's playing well inside the ball.
Play much golf, Dave?
No.
I can imagine you on a golf course.
You can't.
I could. I reckon you'd be really good value. Really good value. Your little sarcastic comments when I duff it 5 meters in front of me.
Yeah. my time of life. I've got better things to be doing than watching you trying to play golf. 56 for 2. Here's O'Rourke round the wicket to Freddie McCann, and a quick ball nestles in the gloves of Harry Duke, generating a decent amount of pace here, Will O'Rourke.
Yeah, that was a lot quicker than the first ball. I fancy the first one maybe pace off. The next one was anything but pace off, and it's rushed him.
Oh, some good keepy uppy there from Don Bess. That was much better than the Calvin Harrison attempt a little earlier on in the piece.
Anyone born in South Africa does not have the art of football ingrained in them.
56 for 2. Freddie McCann has 20 from just 12 balls. 2 big wafts in this over, and he gets this one over the ring on the offside and away for 4. Nicely played. He is such a destructive player, and I know he's playing tonight, but he's in because Moses Enriquez presumably still having problems with that sore back, but Notts have got to find a way to keep Freddie McCann in this side, and a good innings, a substantial innings here could make him undroppable.
Yep, I agree with you, Dave. I think he is a fantastic player, so handy with the bat and especially in the field as well, so destructive.
60 for 2, halfway through the 6th over. End of the power play. O'Rourke bowls, and McCann has hit this one. What did you say earlier? He's hit one up towards the moon. Well, he's helped this one into the next galaxy. It lands amongst the patrons in the Hound Road stand for a big 6, pulled away behind square on the leg side. And it really does warm the cockles of the heart to see a young 20-year-old go out there and take on the international bowler and just deposit him high into the seats.
Just so fearless now. We speak about youngsters just coming out there and playing their shots, being fearless, being free, and it's so good. Freddie McCann just slaps him away through next.
O'Rourke bowls. This is very hard all the way along the deck out to deep mid-wicket, and a single taken. Adam Lythe out there doing the fielding. I think we both thought he might get the opening over, Adam Lythe.
Yeah, I did 67 for 2, Clark 33, McCann 31. Nice little partnership brewing.
67 for 2, last ball of the power play. O'Rourke bowls, Clark pushes it into the covers, and there's no run. So Notts 67 for 2. Yorkshire was 75 without loss, but then the next over only went for 4 runs. There was a little spell, wasn't there, after Milan got out, where the breaks came on, understandably, those that were in after that opening partnership. It looked as if they were going to take a little while to rebuild, but the rebuild never really came in terms of a substantial partnership. Notts have got to do it the other way round. They've got a couple out there nicely set, and the next challenge will be the spin of Jaffa Chauhan.
Yeah, the leggy, who prior to the game against Leicestershire hadn't taken a wicket and then picked up a 4 bag, so good form, bowls quite quickly through the air. It's obviously definitely profited from spending a lot of time with Adil Rashid, who's regarded incredibly highly in white ball cricket. So Jaffa Chauhan in his bright red boots.
I was just going to say, he's not colour coordinated, is he?
No, neither the blue ones.
He's got the Lancashire boots on, folks. 67 for 2. In he comes, and whippy arm action. First ball beats Freddie McCann. Harry Duke lifts off a bail, and there's no damage done. 67 for 2. It's certainly better for the over rate than Will O'Rourke, who has quite a long run up. Mind for a leggy, I suppose so does Chauhan. A reverse hit from Freddie McCann. Yeah. Reverse hit, switch hit, call it what you like. Connected with it nicely, but hit it straight to the fielder.
Yeah, Chauhan's got a long run up, really long run up for a leg spinner. Yeah. Darren Stevens
on comms for a while. Not too many Darren Stevens. I was only saying the other day, not too many Stephen Mullaney's around, but yeah, Darren Stevens was another one. Freddie McCann's hit this one up in the air, and Chauhan's going to get rid of McCann. He's out, and it's 67 for 3. He just wouldn't put that switch hit to bed. Was determined to have another go at it, see if he could execute it properly, and he's just top-edged it straight up in the air. And a simple catch for Will Sutherland. Freddie McCann out 31 from 18, 3 fours and a 6. Freddie's left some runs out there, knots a 67 for 3.
Yeah, Freddie's got to go. He looked really, really good. Looking to sort of go switch it to the short boundary. This one, he actively trying to go up and over extra cover, just to try and manipulate the fields, hit it straight up into the air. Really, really simple catch, and Chohan's got his first and knots a 67 for 3. It brings Tom Moores to the crease.
Bowlers love that, don't they?
They do. They do.
They've not had to work too hard for the wicket. That's not taking anything away from his immense skill, but Freddie McCann had one go at the reverse. Decided he'd have another go and straight up in the air, and Chohan, I'm sure will, as the ball was in the air, be thinking thank you very much. So Tom Moores arrives in the middle. His scores in this season's Blast: 8 not out, 24, 21 not out and 39. Only plays white ball cricket these days. That's wicket keeper, left-hander, and Chohan bowls to him, and Moores is, I was going to say Moores is beaten. That was almost a brilliant bit of sleight of hand from Harry Duke to take the ball and clip off a bail. That's really good glove work. Tom Moores hadn't gone anywhere. You don't want to get stumped by a fellow wicketkeeper, do you?
No, just like if you're a spinner, you don't want to get out to a fellow spinner.
No, wicketkeepers don't like to be stumped. This is floated up there, and Moores hits the ball hard down the ground. How hard has he hit it? Will it be cut off? It will, but there'll be a couple of runs. So Tom Moores up and running. 69 for 3, the Outlaws. Still requiring 107 more from 79 balls. I think we've got ourselves a game on here.
Yeah, I think we're in for something here. Strap yourself in, get ready.
Comes Chohan, last ball of the over, and Moores tries to drag it on the leg side. Well, does drag it on the leg side, gets a single, but not with the power or the intent that teaming along at the moment. At the same stage, Yorkshire was 79 without loss.
Yeah, good over from Chohan. Wicket of Freddie McCann, and only going for 3 runs, so nice and tidy indeed. And well, we said we wondered if Adam Lyth would get a go. He is going to get a go. So Adam Lyth is going to be bowling here to Tom Moores. Right arm off spin.
Down at the Oval. Sorry, we're 2 for 3 against the Blaze. They're now 49 for 3. Danny Wyatt-Hodge 31 not out. Phoebe Franklin in with it. In the women's match, the Blaze undefeated so far. Real top of the table clash down at the Oval now. Then Adam Lyth made 29 earlier in the piece. They'll be bowling to Tom Moores, who's on 3. Outlaws 70 for 3 in pursuit of a victory target of 176. So here is Lyth bowling from this, the Radcliffe Road end. First ball's just chopped into the covers and there's no run. There's the skipper, David Malan. I presume you played with him in South Africa as well.
No, not at all.
Cut away into the offside. He's a little bit older than you, isn't he?
Yeah.
Single taken, 71 for 3.
I played at the school that he went to. We're in a really good school. Paul Boys. Down in the Cape. Yeah. Lovely school. Used to go on a tour there every January. Used to always look forward to it, so wonderful place to play.
Joe Clark has his shirt number on the scoreboard, 33. Scored 33 from 17. Lyth bowls to him and just helps this onto the leg side. There's a bit of a relay out there. I'm not entirely sure that was 100% necessary, but it did enable Knox to come back for 2.
Adam Lyth's got the teapot out, almost like, why have you done that?
Will Sutherland decided to help his mate out there. Can't quite see who it is. Might actually be Will Luxton again. But instead of just firing it in himself, he lobbed it to Luxton to do it. And I think without that, might not have got back for 2. There's Lyth again. Oh, Yorker from Adam Lyth. know he could bowl them. 73 for 3. Don't know if he knew he could bowl them. It was a good ball. Nearly caught Joe Clark out.
It did. Almost Joe Clark just put into a full toss, just dipped at the last minute. Well kept out.
It's not going to rain, folks, but if it were to stop now, Notts are 7 runs ahead on Duckworth Lewis. There's live bowls. Clark turns it to mid-wicket. Well, it doesn't have to rain, as we found out at Derby last Friday night when we had a power cut. About 25 past 9, something like that. It was already dark. It was a gloomy evening. Not quite pitch black, but get in there, and then we had a power cut. The whole of Derby was out, including the ground, and they couldn't see, and off they went for 50 minutes. There's Clark pulling Lythe away for 6. Just too short from Adam Lythe. Last ball of the over. He couldn't get out the over without the half tracker, and Joe Clark was waiting for it. And away it goes for 6 runs. That'll take Joe Clark on to, I think, on to 40. We'll just check the screen at the moment as just gone into advertising mode. 79 for 3 after 8. Yeah, Joe Clark on to 41. Tom Moores has 4. 79 for 3 after 8.
Yeah, just sort of watching the screen here with Joe Clark on it, and he really doesn't look like he's feeling great.
There's Chowan getting another over. Bowls outside the off stump to Tom Moores, who swished up fresh air. This ends up in the gloves of Harry Duke. So we've got 3 in the ring on the offside. Will O'Rourke is at short fine, the only one inside the ring on the leg side. Chowan again to Tom Moores, slaps it into the covers, and there's no run. It remains 79 for 3.
Good bowling by Chauhan. Just those 2 extra covers, they're making life quite difficult for Moores to get off strike. Going quite straight as well, so Moores has to really take a risk to get it square for 1.
There's Chowan. Bowls all that one. With my uneducated guess, would be a bit of a top spinner because it kept low.
Yeah. Yeah, really nicely bowled that by Chauhan. Fairly adjacent as well. 3 dots here. Moore's going to play release.
Here comes again. Lots of varieties. Moores again chops it into the offside. So 4 dots. 79 for 3 it remains. So it's important here for Tom Moores not to do anything recklessly. If you can't get it away, you can't get it away, and then over out the way and move on. He'll sense the pressure is building. Tom Moores has got hold of this one. He's hit it up into the air. Tom Moores out, and it will plug just in front of deep mid-wicket, and they'll come back for 2. Bowler thought he was in the gravy there, didn't he?
He did. He did. It's 4 dot balls in this form of the game. You always know something's going to happen.
I'm not sure he wants to be in the gravy. I think the expression is in the honey or in the money. But yeah, it was in the gravy. 81 for 3.
Depends what meat you got on your plate if you want the gravy or not.
Couple to Tom Moores. Short, Moores again will pull it, and this time he'll pull it well for 4. So 4 dots, and then the over just got away from the spinner a little bit with a 2 and a 4. Notts won't mind that. 85 for 3. They're 14 behind where Yorkshire were at the same stage, but Yorkshire tightened up as the innings drew towards a close. Looks as if Matthew Revis has got the nod from David Milan. He's going to bowl the next over from this end, the Radcliffe Road end.
Yeah, last ball there from Chauhan, just a tad short, so just very easy to put away. Revis, so going to be changing bowling. Lythe is going to be taken out of the attack. Revis in to the attack. Number 77 on his back. So Joe Clark 41 of 21, 85 for 3. Not still ahead of the run rate.
So Revis right on, medium fast. Derbyshire running into a bit of a cul-de-sac up at Chesterley Street. They're 76 for 5. Wayne Madsen's still there. Sami Patel out. Their pursuit is of 169. Here's Revis. Short. Clark will pull this firmly out to deep mid-wicket where Don Best fields. He started off at long on, but had to move round to his right to do the fielding. 86 for 3, and now the equation for the left-hander has just been sorted out between bowler and skipper, or it might still be being sorted out. 86 for 3. You go here and I'll go there, and we'll send him over there. There's a little bit of that going on at the moment. This fielder's running in all directions. Well, there's one on the leg side for Tom Moores wherever he hits it, and he hits it on the leg side, and he's pushed hard, but is it just hit that too crisply, hasn't he? Straight to Dominic Bess. Is the 2 if he just drops it?
Yeah, he made it so hard.
Yeah, you don't want to run out here, do you? Especially you don't, if you're Tom Moores, you don't want to run Joe Clarke out, with Clarke nicely set on 42 off 22. It'll be Revis to bowl to him in the 10th over, and Clarke has drilled this down the ground crisply, and that I think has just been fielded down below us. It's a good job I didn't finish that sentence, because that's not that's not how it was going to end. How it was going to end when he hit it. Quite see down below us, because we've got the overhang of the gantry. 88 for 3, but I didn't think it was going to be cut off, I must be honest, but it was.
Struck it nicely.
Moore's on 11. Oh, that's very wide. Now then, did that pitch on the court? It's been called a wide by Steve O'Shaughnessy.
I'm not sure that's pitched on the cut strip.
And if Steve O'Shaughnessy says it's a wide, it's a wide. But that was my first thought. I wouldn't be surprised if that's called as a no ball, but it wasn't. 89 for 3.
Yeah, we had that in the Middlesex game, wasn't it, where it was called a no ball.
Next ball on its way now, and this is heading to the offside, and there's no run. What Middlesex game? I've not seen Middlesex for about 4 years.
There was a Middlesex game where Henry Brooks bowled a
Middlesex game.
Yeah, in the Blast bowled a slower ball, missed the cut strip, and it was adjudicated to be a no ball free hit. So I thought that was very close to missing.
This is some other cricket you've been watching.
Yeah, some other cricket. I do like watching cricket. much to my fiance's disgust at times, but yeah.
I know you think I'm totally abreast of everything that's going on in the cricket world, but
I thought you knew everything.
But
Dave.
Something that you've just happened to come across in a Middlesex game, the Middlesex Worcestershire game, no doubt. Well, why would it be Worcestershire? 89 for 3.
It definitely wasn't Worcestershire, but Middlesex game. I don't know who they were playing. I just remember seeing the no ball. Was it missed the cut strip?
Oh, Henry Brooks, not
yeah.
Ethan.
Not Ethan.
Okay. Anyway, we've got one ball left in the 10th over, and then
only 4
Kyle can pick up this madness. 89 for 3, same stage. Yorkshire at 105, slapped away into the offside for a single. Oh, hang on, there's a misfield out there, so they'll come back for 2.
Oh,
decent throw in from Will Luxton. Harry Duke couldn't take it. He needed to take it on the half volley and swivel round and run his man out, but he didn't. 91 for 3 after 10 overs. In terms of runs, not so 14 behind where Yorkshire were in terms of Duckworth Lewis, which has now just gone off the board unhelpfully. I think not so.
Jaffa Chauhan to continue, so not still ahead of the run rate here, going a shade over 9s. They require 85 from 60 balls. Clarke on 43, Moores on 13. Hasn't quite got going this evening, has Tom Moores. But Joe Clarke, who has hardly faced the ball of Jaffa Chauhan. I think if he's faced 2 balls, it's a lot. Here he is. Chauhan with the long run up, and Clarke just pushing this out to deep mid wicket for 1, which will bring the left-handed Tom Moores onto strike. And Rivers just got a shade of a ticking off there from the umpires after he's thrown that ball into the dirt about 3 or 4 times on his way to Harry Duke.
They don't like that, do they? The
no,
umps?
They get the hump quite quickly. David Milan just having a little bit of a conversation here with Jaffa in regards to what Tom Moores is going to do. I think he's obviously got the big slog sweep option. He's got to give himself a bit of room and look to access extra cover, depending on the ball that Chauhan bowls. And here he is. He goes wide, and Moores is cutting this out to deep backward point for a single, so 2 balls, 2 runs. 83 to win off 58, 93 for 3.
So this MCC game you played yesterday down at Richmond in Middlesex, was that white ball or red ball? White clothing, coloured clothing?
But on that in a bit, as Chohan's into Clark, who's playing and missing. There's a through to Harry Duke. That red ball,
white clothing.
White clothing.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Time cricket though.
I was just wondering if MCC's coloured clothing side, if they wore the egg and bacon colours.
No, it's all blue, but they got an egg and bacon collar.
Okay.
Chohan in, and this is up and over extra cover towards sweeper. They get through for 1.
So that ball was spinning.
Just a lone shout of "Watch the spin!" Yeah. You'll hear that all over club grounds on Saturday. Watch the spin when it goes out to backward point or deep square. You haven't played cricket if you haven't heard that shout. Watch the spin, or been done by the spin at some stage. 94 for 3. Chohan in goes short, and Tom Moores is hammering this. So Chohan dressing room. He wants another pair of gloves. So Moores moves to 18, scored 98 for 3. Yeah, no, so all blue for the MCC, but you're quite right there. The cufflinks and the collar is egg and bacon.
Lovely.
Chohan in, and googly play and miss by Tom Moores. So at the end of the 11th, it's 98 for 3.
So Notts require 78 more from 54 balls. They're on course, you'd have to say, but as the little saying goes, add a couple of wickets to that and it can look a little tricky, a little sticky. Matthew Montgomery on the card at 6, Daniel Sams, Liam Patterson-White, Calvin Harrison, Connor McCurr, and if it gets down to Dylan Pennington, Notts have either been blown away or it could be a very thrilling last over, but I'm sure even Dylan's hoping he doesn't have to put his pads on this evening. It's going to be Dominic Best to continue, 98 for 3 after 11. Joe Clark on 45. He's on strike. He's got his new shiny white bright gloves on. Don Best bowls a low full toss to him, drilled down the ground by Clark. Shadows from the floodlights just starting to take effect now. 99 for 3.
Yeah, that's a nice start by Dom Bess. He's bowled really quickly through the air, hasn't he, as old Dom Bess? Really quick and flat. His cousin is the Notts strength and conditioning coach, who's had another hip hop, so we wish Zach all the best.
Start of the 12th over. Tom Moores on 18, pushes it back to the bowler. Tidy stuff then. Start of this over. Comes Bess once more. Moores backs away, cuts it square of the wicket on the offside. Single taken. That's the 100 up for the Outlaws. 100 for 3 here at Trent Bridge. Notts, remember, 2 wins and 2 defeats from their first 4 matches. Really important that they can have a good week. This is drilled down the ground, and it's gone for 4. Firmly hit by Joe Clark, and that will take him to his 50, his second 50 of this season's competition.
Lovely batting by Joe Clark, over pitched by Dom Bess. Clark is not going to.
Yeah, 28 balls, 5 fours,
3 sixes.
3 sixes, yeah, before it disappears off the screen. Dominic Bess in again to him, and he's hit this one now, then up into the air. There's an opportunity here for Sutherland, and he bags it. And Joe Clark goes for an even 50, caught by number 50. And Notts are 4 down, and it's their skipper. And Yorkshire, from their reaction, just shows you what a big wicket that is. Joe Clark caught by Will Sutherland from the bowling of Dominic Bess for exactly 50.
Yeah, brings Matthew Montgomery to the crease. Joe Clark's got to go for a very good 50. Struck him nicely again here at Trent Bridge. Brings Monty to the crease, who, fair to say, hasn't had a lot to do in this season's blast at all. Good player of spin though. Reverse sweeps, paddle sweeps, lap sweeps, all of that.
Yeah, difficult man to bowl to, especially if he can get in. He'll be facing Dominic Bess. There's one ball left in this over. Just wonder if...
He didn't look... He looked huffing and puffing on the way out there. It really didn't look very good, did he?
No, I was going to make that very same point. Notts back here on Friday evening, the return match against Derbyshire, and then another game on Saturday. So fixtures coming thick and fast. That's away at Edgbaston. They're calling it Midlands Mania. Derbyshire playing Leicestershire, followed by Notts against the Bears, or the Bears against Notts. Here's Bess to bowl to Matthew Montgomery. Away first ball, hitting it down the ground for a single, so he'll keep strike. 105 for 4 after 12. Notts requires 71 from 8 overs.
Yep, good over that for Yorkshire. Only 7 coming from it, so 71 off 48. These two can't let the scoreboard stagnate too much. Jack White is going to be brought back into the attack. Matthew Montgomery will be facing up.
Notts have, I say Notts, I don't mean Notts, I mean the Blaze have just dismissed Danny Wyatt-Hodge down at the Oval for 60. Surrey 87 for 5 after 12 overs there. The Blaze 69 for 105 for 4. That's the score.
Yeah, Jack White's bowled 2 overs for 25 so far. Second over was very expensive.
Yeah, this first one though, he did pick up a couple of wickets. Lyndon James and Jack Haynes, both without scoring. It seems as if the music's going on for longer and longer, but we're ready. Jack White now into Matthew Montgomery. Hits it through the legs of Tom Moores, the non-striker. And we'll get a single down to long on. 106 for 4. So Notts requires 70 from 47 deliveries.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight finish. This Notts still requiring 7-yard runs. Shade of 8.5 really. 6 wickets in hand, no destructive. Daniel Sams still in the pavilion. LPW, Liam Patterson-White can whack it to all parts, and Tom Moores and Matthew Montgomery more than handy and more than capable to knock these off.
So here's White round the wicket now to Tom Moores. Full pitch delivery on the stumps, and Tom Moores defends. Daniel Sams and Liam Patterson-White, both very capable of clearing the ropes, as we saw against Worcestershire on Saturday, but just couldn't quite get over the line there. Well, in the end they were quite soundly beaten. Won their first match, lost their second, won their first match, won their third match, lost their fourth. Can they win their fifth? They're 106 for 4 as Moores comes down the track. Now he's hit this one very, very high indeed, and there's a catching opportunity at long on, and it's been taken by Don Bess. So Moores goes for 19. Bess, as he took it, turned away from us, so I don't know if there was a bit of a juggle, a bit of a fumble, or he pounced it safely and turned to the non-existent crowd in front of the empty pavilion, all boarded up at the far end, but it matters not, he held on to it. Moores out for 19, caught Bess, bowled Jack White, who's got his 3rd wicket.
Yeah, Moores just really struggling to get going this evening. Didn't quite find the timing of the wicket that easy. He's run down the wicket and he's trying to hit over the top. Catch, celebrates.
Yeah, it was sound. I think he turned to celebrate in front of the Notts fans and found himself looking at the blacked out tarpaulins in front of the boarded up pavilion at the far end. Nobody there to celebrate or even just have a bit of a dig at Dom, but nicely taken catch. And it is now a game that's fancy right on the brink here. 106 for 5. New man is Daniel Sams, who's only had 2 visits to the middle for Notts. 1 against Lancashire and 20 here against Worcestershire. Ball's left arm, bats right arm. Sams pushes it into the offside, sets off, comes a long way down, and a shy at the stumps there by McCann. Sams fortunately got back. If he'd gone another pace, it'd have been gone.
Well, just touch and go. Sams is looking to get off the mark quickly, but cover and backward points are really, really tight in not allowing that at all. So it's really good work by the Yorkshire men. Keep Sams on strike.
The trouble is now, Montgomery hasn't had any time in the middle of this competition to speak of, nor Sams, nor,
nope.
Well, nor anybody. Liam Patterson-White got 39 not out, but he's only had 2 knocks. Got 39 not out against Worcestershire. So they're looking for somebody to guide them home with an unbeaten 30 or 40 here, and Sams can start that journey by getting his first run, clipping it out to the deep mid-wicket fence. 107 for 5. Notts requires 69 from 43.
Yeah, Daniel Sams, obviously big overseas player, strikes it really, really well in all the competitions that he's played in for all the teams. And yeah, the umps is just saying that bat sounds nice. Let me just check it with the back gauge. So yeah, Daniel Sams, just these are the situations that so used to try to get his team over the line.
Next ball is punched down the ground. And there's no run, and that's the end of the 13th. 107 for 5. Just to tell you, up at Chesterley Street, Derbyshire require 41 from 4 overs against Durham, but they're 128 for 8, so down to the rats and mice at the bottom of the order. 128 for 8 they need from the last 4 overs. There's only 2 runs and 1 wicket from that last over by Jack White as well. He's had a good evening now, Jack White, with 3 wickets. It'll be Matthew Revis. His first over went for 6. That will suit his skipper nicely if he can replicate that. Beginning the 14th over here, bowls, and this is turned away behind square for a single. 108 for 5.
Yeah, just sort of calm before the storm this field. 68 of 41. So a couple of boundaries is all that is needed just to sort of get the scores back on track.
Just thinking I seem to have been nattering away for a while. This one's hit down the ground by Matthew Montgomery. He'll get a boundary for 4. Moves on to 6. I'll finish this over and then you can take it to the end. I think I've
well, I'll do 3 or 4 and you take the last 2.
No. Might not go to the last 2, but that was a nice shot from
Lovely
Montgomery.
shot.
112 for 5 in the 14th over. Revis making 5 runs from his first 2 balls here. This is banged in short.
Is that not a wide?
Well, let's have a look. 1 for the over, that's all it's being called. 112 for 5.
Yeah, Montgomery just backing away, looking to replicate the ball before he flat batted it down the ground. This one dug in a lot shorter. Just any touch on that goes over fine. Short third man for 4 more. Unlucky.
Montgomery's on 6. He's on strike, and it's it up to mid-off to Sutherland, who throws it down to the far end. Single taken. Not seen him yet bowl, Will Sutherland. No idea of the current status of his injury. He only missed a couple of matches with, I believe it was a broken toe. It might be a little more painful to bowl. There's one down the leg side, and it's somehow been stopped by Harry Duke. Burst through the gloves and sort of hit him on the arm and then the shoulder, and then he turned round, hit him in the middle of the back, and to complete the conjuring trick, I think he caught it at the 7th attempt. 113 for 5.
That one from Revis has really come back and cut Daniel Sams in half.
So where are we? 1 ball cost 6. Sams. That one has been deposited down below us in the seats of the Radcliffe Road stand for 6. Nice clean swish of the bat, and suddenly 6 from 5 balls becomes 12 from 6, and Notts will take that over all day long. 119 for 5 after 14 overs. And to talk us through to the end, whichever way it goes, once again is Kyle.
Well, lovely over that. Saved by the big six at the end. O'Rourke to come in and bowl now. He's going to be bowling his third. So fancy. White's got one, O'Rourke's got one, Bess has got one more, Revis has bowled 2, so he's got 2 more. Chauhan's got 1 more. So Captain Davin Milan's got enough options there. Does he fancy the leg spinner to the 2 right-handers maybe? Got O'Rourke here, the New Zealander. We're bowling to Matthew Montgomery. He's on 7. It's 119 for 5. O'Rourke goes in, and Montgomery goes straight up in the air, goes straight, and it's out. Montgomery's got to go. It looked like it was pace off by O'Rourke, and Montgomery too early on the shot, gone really, really high. Dom Bess takes another one out there in the deep. Another really good grab by Bess. Not lose their 6th. It's 119 for 6. Montgomery's got to go for 5.
Yeah, looking trickier and trickier for Notts now. Looking for a boundary clearer there, Matthew Montgomery, just to try and make the job easier, but in the end all that has happened is it's given Yorkshire another wicket and made the job even trickier. So here comes Liam Patterson-White off the back of that unbeaten 39 at the weekend, which included some big hits. Left-hander.
Yeah, Liam Patterson-White, only 2 opportunities to have a swing of the willow. Does have a fairly good strike rate. Got a 44 not out against Lancashire here last year in a very explosive knock where Notts were crying out for some impetus in the middle to late order and sort of got the opportunity and did it, and well, they need that today. O'Rourke into Patterson-White there with overseas Daniel Sams. He can obviously strike a really, really long ball. You fancy if Notts are going to get over the line here, Daniel Sams is going to have to play some sort of innings.
I think this pair are. I think this pair are going to have to put on a stand here.
O'Rourke into Patterson-White, who's beaten. Slower ball by O'Rourke. Patterson-White just signals off cutter. Maybe grips in the surface a little bit through to keeper Duke. Dot ball.
It's a long, long way back, Harry Duke there, isn't it? The ball, as you say, I think it was pace off, so it was always going to bounce before Harry Duke, but he's taking no chances, is it? Harry Duke is a long, long way back there. Doesn't want anything to get past him.
Nope. 119 for 6, 57 to win. This is cannoned into Patterson-White's pads. It's going to be another dot, so that's 4 dot balls this over. O'Rourke's firing them down quite quickly. That's come down at 84.7 miles per hour according to the speed cameras or clocks.
Yeah, and this is only his 3rd over, so he's got another over to come. Wonder if David Milan will save him or keep him going now, try and put Notts out of the game here and now or over the next couple of overs.
O'Rourke into Liam Patterson-White, who's pushing it down the ground for 1, gets the first run of the over. 120 for 6 now. You can just hear the chat, I'm sure. 1 wicket here now, 1 wicket here now, boys. They know Sam.
Well, now we've got Australia versus New Zealand, or New Zealand versus Australia, with O'Rourke bowling to Sams.
Yeah, this is the matchup. Can Sams take a boundary? Took a 6 from the last ball of the previous over. They need a boundary here. 56 off 31. And they get it to 50 off 30. O'Rourke in. It's going to have to be re-bowled. So pace on. That one from O'Rourke. He's going to have to re-bowl that one for 26 in his 2.5 overs. So Sam's 8 off 5 here.
Yeah, Sams did well there because I think his initial intent, was to obviously pick up the line of that delivery, realised it was wide, and with a little bit of a step he could have had, you know, a real old swish at it, but decided to leave it for the extra.
And this one's top over. 1-2 from it, 2 from it in the wicket, so 121 for 6 at the end of 14.
Yeah, in all comparisons now, Notts are behind. They're behind on Duckworth Lewis, they're behind on what Yorkshire were at the same stage. Still a game that could be won, 55 from 5 overs. 11 and over here at Trent Bridge has certainly been done many, many times in the past, but in order to get those 55, somebody has got to start peppering the boundary, or even better, start clearing the boundary. And we're down to number 7 and 8 with only 9, 10 and 11 to come.
Dom Bess into Patterson White, who's hammering this straight back at Dom Bess, dot ball. Yeah, you fancy Liam Patterson White here to Dom Bess, swinging away to the shorter boundary. Needs to take a few down.
Like that.
There's one. Is it? Oh, it's great. Absolutely fantastic work out there in the deep. Really, really good work diving away by Long On. Not quite sure who that is, as they're just below us. Of course,
I can't even
Will
see if
Sutherland.
there's a fielder down there.
So only 2 in, and this is cut away out into the offside. So 3 from the over. Dom Bess bowling really, really quickly and flat through the air. Up in the 60 mile an hour these by Dom Bess. You can imagine there won't be anything above Daniel Sam's eye line. Shifting his troops around, changing the field. 124 for 6, 52 of 27. Rope needs to get cleared. Bess in, slow gather to Daniel Sams, and that is hammered. There's one of them. That's 6. Flat, hard and far enough. 130 for 6.
Nice slap, wasn't there, as the bat made contact.
Yeah, that's hit really hard by Daniel Sams. Just right in the slot by Dom Bess. Watch out those windows. Fiery, hard hit by Daniel Sams. He's 14 off 7. Need a fair few of those.
He didn't 11 and over at the start of this over. Well, that's 9 off 4.
For 6, Bess in. Sams goes again! And he's got enough of it again. Back-to-back 6s. Daniel Sams, well, if you can clear boundaries in Australia, where the fields are huge, you can clear boundaries here to the bigger side. He's got enough of it. He didn't even get all of it, I don't think. Shows how strong this man is, and how hard he hits the ball. 136 for 6. 40 required of 25. Dom Bess going around the wicket. Oh no. Well, low full toss. Daniel Sams slammed it straight back at Dom Bess. It's a sharp catch. Dom Bess takes another good catch tonight. And Daniel Sams has got to go for 20 off 9. Oh, he was striking it so well, and you fear that that could be the end of the Outlaws' hopes.
Stunning bit of work by Dominic Bess. It was absolutely mullered back at him. Absolutely gave it everything. Very, very low down, and he's caught it sort of ankle height. Dom Bess ends the over. Lots of had a good over there, but yeah, just seen a replay of it. Very nicely judged. They needed 11 and over from the last 5. They now need 10 and over from the last 4. 40 to win, 4 to go, as Calvin Harrison makes his way out to the middle. He's just had 1 knock in this season's competition, coming in very late on at Old Trafford.
Yeah, Daniel Sam's got to go. Dom Bess finishing his spell, and Jaffa Chauhan to continue. So 136 for 7 after 16. Now well behind where Yorkshire were at this stage. Liam Patterson White Can strike it, good player. Chohan in, Patterson White goes straight down the ground and will be out as well. And it's going from bad to worse for the Outlaws, who are starting to fall apart here. 136 for 7, turns to 136 for 8, and it will be a team hat-trick for Yorkshire. Chohan picks up his second, Liam Patterson-White's got to go for 4, and Notts are staring down the barrel of back-to-back defeats at Trent Bridge.
Catchy practice for Adam Lyve's time coming in from. I've now decided that's that, and heading for the exits. There's people going out in their droves down the steps and out onto the concourses and away from Trent Bridge and off into the night. Conor McCann comes in at number 10.
Yeah,
can hit a long ball. Whether he can hit 40 from 23 or can share a partnership that reaches 40 off 23 remains to be seen. Big tall right-hander can give it a biff if he gets the opportunity.
Chohan in, and this is pushed out to backward point, dot ball. Yeah, Chohan, I can imagine, is going to bowl quite quick into the wicket. Not allow the big, tall, fast bowler to free his levers up. I'm sure there'll be loads of change-ups, loads of googlies. Here he is, he's starting his long approach. In and inside edge, and that will be 4. Well, we'll take lots of those. We'll take all of those if we can. Buys. So, googly, must be a googly in between bat and pad. Keeper's worst nightmare, to be perfectly honest with you. And it goes away for a boundary. 144 for 8. 140 for 8, I beg your pardon. Conor McCann stands and chops this one into the ground. They're going to scamper through for a quick single. 141 for 8. So, well, there's 2 balls there. If not, need 5. Boundary and a single. Over to you, Calvin. Nice. Get 5 off this. They're on track. No, I still think it's a very tall ask. It's Calvin's option here. Chohan in. Calvin just pushing it straight at extra cover. Dot ball. Really tough ask this. 9, 10 and 11 to come in and strike at 10s. Harrison waiting, cutting this out to sweeper. That will get a single. End of the over. It's another tidy one. So Chohan has done his spell. 2 for 18 in his 4. The end of the 17th, it's 142 for 8. Notts require 54 of 18 if they were to from this stage.
Blast competition in the North Group. Durham have defeated Derbyshire by 16 runs at Chesterley Street. Durham won 68 for 6. Derbyshire all out for 152 in the final over. So Durham played 4, won 2, lost 2. Derbyshire lost all their first 5 matches.
Rivers into the attack. This is just pushed out into the leg side by Harrison. And they're going to run really well. They'll get back for 2. In all intensive purposes, if you do that for 6 balls, it's 12 and over, and you're along with the rate. So there are other ways to skin a cat, for argument's sake. Get the runs. It's not all about bludgeoning it to all parts of the ground. Clever batting. So this one outside off stump, and just a swish and a miss from Calvin Harrison.
Might need a bit of help from Yorkshire as well if you can get the odd wide.
Yeah,
maybe
misfield if they can get one.
I'm just clutching this box full of straws here when I say that. You'll understand. I say it doesn't happen too often with 9 and 10 at the crease.
32 off 16 as Harrison's nicked it and has gone for 4. 6 from 3 balls. Can it be done? Who knows? They'll take him any which way they've come. Inside edge, outside edge, buys, leg buys, wides, anything.
And did you hear the cheer? You know, the longer it goes on, and the more opportunities or the more things just start to go for Notts. They had the 4 buys towards the end of the last over, a streaky 4 there. crowd get involved. A lot have left, giving up on them, but those that are here, big cheer then.
148 for 8. Harrison slams us down the ground. They'll scamper through for a quick single. 7 from this over. 27 of 14. 149 for 8. Can Conor McCann nick 1 for 4? Who knows? Change in field here. Fine leg up. Mid off back. So fancy potentially slower ball. Will be a change up of some sorts. Revasera for 25 and is 2.4. Not desperately need a boundary. Slower ball pulled away. Just picks out the man.
He's so
really unlucky there. Couple meters either side and it would have been a boundary.
Yeah. But, well, our Yorkshire listeners and viewers will forgive us if we say good luck, lads, good luck.
Rivers in and Harrison over the top. That'll be 4. That will be a great shot. Gives himself a little bit of room. Lifts it over mid-off for a boundary. Good over. 154 for 8. 11's required. 22 off 12. It's not over till the fat lady sings.
Looks very much as if the Blaze are going to win in that women's match. Earlier, Bears women defeated Durham women, but Surrey are 143 for 9. They've got 1 over left and required 27. So last pair at the crease. Looks as if the Blaze are going to get 1 over Surrey women right at the top end of the women's competition. Here in the men's, wins for Durham over Derbyshire. Northants playing the Bears. The Bears are 153 for 5 in the 18th, needing 32 from 15 balls with 5 wickets left. Northants 5 wins out of 5.
O'Rourke into the attack. New Zealander into Conor McCann's inside edging it, and it goes out to fine leg, and they scamper through for a single. But they're doing the right thing. Run off every ball.
Yep.
Couple of boundaries. And another thing that a lot of the coaches and what they'll be saying there is, when you instead of thinking of the round number of 22, 4 boundaries, that's 16 runs. Singles off every other ball and they win. So 4 boundaries not to be looking for. Can they pick up 4 boundaries? O'Rourke to Calvin Harrison. Go scoop! Oh, it just hasn't got it past. It's the right option. A little bit more bat and it probably flies away for one of those 4 boundaries. 20 required off 10 to a ball.
Yeah, but Conor McCann was, wide awake there and alive to the possibility that even though it had gone through to Harry Duke, who'd had to dive for it, there was an opportunity to scamper down and get the run. So 20 now required from 10.
What's going on here?
I think it could be a clock issue here. I think maybe a fielder's got to come inside the ring here for Yorkshire. Could well be. I think the umpire was we're in. I think we're past the cut-off time. Can't see what it is. Yeah, there we are. The man on the tannoy system, just letting everybody know that Yorkshire have got to bring an extra fielder inside the ring.
I really like that rule. I think it's a good rule. So it's O'Rourke, an extra fielder in the ring. To McCann, swinging and missing. Big swoosh and a miss by Conor. 20 off 9 here.
It's still, well, obviously it's still possible, but a boundary, or if you get six runs, leave 14 off the last.
Yeah, very doable. O'Rourke in, goes full down the ground. He's got a hand on it. He saved 4 there as O'Rourke. Hammered away by Conor McCann. O'Rourke puts down a big right mitt, stops it. Definitely saved, well, saved 3. 19 required off 8. They could do with 2 boundaries here.
Blaze have won. They've bowled Surrey out for 152, so they've won by 17 runs. 3 wickets for Kirsty Gordon, 2 for Casey Phillips, 2 for Josie Groves.
Full and wide by O'Rourke. Calvin Harrison, all he can muster is slapping it out to square leg for 1. O'Rourke showing all their experience. This over's gone 1-1-0-1-1. Not Mr. York, has it?
Saving him up for the last over. Interesting to see who's going to bowl it. Jack White's got 1 left.
O'Rourke into McCurr. Yorker again, really well executed. He has not missed his Yorkers as O'Rourke, and it leaves 17 off the final one to win it. So we're in for fireworks, regardless, if not do get over the line here. It's going to be White to bowl it.
Yeah, 16 for the tie, don't rule that out.
Yeah, Jack White.
So O'Rourke, 4 overs, 1 for 31. Chohan bowled out, 4 overs, 2 for 18. Don Bett 40, 3 for 27.
Don't ride the 5 off the cards for him as well. Loads of possibilities. Can Conor McCurr be a hero?
Dylan Pennington to hit the winning 6 off the last ball. Who knows? 17 to win, 16 to tie. Last over.
Right, from the Radcliffe Road end. Goes full to Conor McCurr, who finds extra cover. That'll be a dot. 5 balls left. 16 to win. So it's 4 fours.
Again, it's, fine margins. There's nobody out on that fence on the cover boundary there to the right-hander, and he hit it straight to cover. I say hit it well enough, 2 yards either side, and
it's a boundary.
It would have been 4.
It's a cruel game. Now we're just going to go full Yorkers here. I wonder if Calvin Harrison is going to get down on one knee and try a scoop. This ball really does need to go to the boundary.
Quick man to scoop, Jack White.
Calvin Harrison flicking it away. It's not going to carry. They're not going to come back for 3. So 2 from that ball. 14 required off 4 now. Keeps them in the game.
Yeah, James Wharton was the fielder at deep mid-wicket, and I think he was in a couple of minds there, whether to let it bounce and take it on the bounce and throw it in, but instead he tried to be the hero, threw himself forward to try and take the catch, couldn't get there, and then was unable to get hold of the ball whilst he was down on the ground, so they came back for the second. 14 required to win off 4.
White in full down, clipped straight to. They need to come back for 2. Really, they're going to get back for 2. So good running. It keeps the game alive, but it means that every ball here needs to go across the line for Notts to win.
Or only 2. Only 2 need to go over the line. 12 required off 3. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. 2 big hits and it's over. The DJ trying to get the crowd up.
Or a wicket now, and Dylan Pennington comes out and gets 2 big hits. That would be a story.
That would be a fantastic story.
There was the fall of the last wicket. A lot of people left, but nobody's left since. And it seems as if everybody's in on the end of their seat. I wonder if a few will leave after this ball.
Harrison in, needs to disappear.
Or a 6 and a 4 for the tie.
Conor McCurr, he can do it. He's a big, strong man. Long levers. White misses his mark. You fancy that it is going for all 6.
Well, it would add to the drama, wouldn't it, for our listening and viewing audience. Otherwise, it'll be all over after this ball. 165 for 8. 11 required from 2.
Conor McCurr poised. Yorker out the ground. Off stump goes disappearing. And Yorkshire win. The game's not over yet, but mathematically, unless White has an absolute disaster, Yorkshire will be taking all 4 points up to Headingley.
And just look at everybody leaving now. Of course, Jack White has now got 4 wickets, and he'll be well aware that the Notts number 11 is on his way out. It'll be desperately hoping that Dylan Pennington has a big swish at this. Trying to score the 11 required from one ball.
Yeah. You fancy that this is a great opportunity for White to pick up a fifer.
The Blaze have won by 17 runs. Might have told you that. One other game, Bears 161 for 8. They need 24 from the last over to beat Northants. So looks very much as if Northants are going to make it 6 wins out of 6, top the North Group. At the moment, it doesn't matter for Notts. They're going to slip to 2 wins and 3 losses after this ball.
White into Pennington, who's hammering this straight up in the air, and it's going to land in no man's land. So White will finish with figures of 4 for 32. But most importantly for David Milan and Yorkshire, they come to Trent Bridge and get the W. They get the win. Notts falling short by 10 runs. They slump to their second defeat in as many games. They're now 2 and 3, and are starting to slip down and go the wrong way down the table in the North Group.
Yep, Yorkshire also 2 and 3 now on the comeback surge. 1-2, lost 3. The quirks of the competition are that these two sides this season don't meet again in the Blast. We don't have a game at Headingley this year. We don't play everybody home and everybody away as well in the same group. But the sides do meet again here at Trent Bridge in a couple of Trent Bridge in T20 cricket. They made 175 for 8 from their 20 overs. David Milan, the skipper, making 58 for Notts. Dylan Pennington and Liam Patterson-White and Daniel Sams each picking up 2 wickets. Notts set to score 176. Joe Clark dismissed as soon as he'd reached 50. Sensed then that it might be difficult for those that were to come. Freddie McCann made 31, Daniel Sams 20, Tom Moore's 19, and Calvin Harrison finished 18 not out. But the one score of substance that Notts needed to get over the line hasn't happened. It's well, a crowd of file in a way. It almost goes without saying, but I have to say it anyway. It's been another disappointing home performance. They've bowled a little better, I fancy, having shipped 200 in 3 of the previous 4 games to restrict Yorkshire to 175. But as you said at the time, that 12th and 13th over where Yorkshire lost 3 wickets for just 4 runs, it was a little bit self-induced. I fancy that Yorkshire will still feel they should have got 200 runs tonight. Yeah,
definitely. I think two really soft wickets, both caught on the boundary. One a short ball, and James Wharton, Will Luxton, just getting caught on the boundary. It was really, really soft. A really good dismissal that Harry Duke got there in and amongst it all. But apart from that, Yorkshire top order just really, really blew the Notts bowling attack away in the power play itself, and Notts, in a similar sort of sense, got off to a very, very poor start, built it back up, and then after losing the wickets of McCann and Joe Clark, really struggled to seem to get going. Daniel Sams looked really good. Really shame the way he got out. Good catch by Dom Best, but always just looked a stretch too far for Notts.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Very much enjoyed your company this evening. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage from Trent Bridge, even though it's been another disappointing performance really from the Outlaws. They've been beaten by Yorkshire by 9 runs. They've won 2 and lost 3 in the early stages of this year's T20 Blast. They're next in action in 48 hours time here at Trent Bridge on Friday evening when Derbyshire come again. Derbyshire played 5, lost 5 in the North Group. Samit Patel and co will be here, and so will we, to bring you the coverage on BBC Radio Nottingham. Hope you can join us then. In the meantime, we'll now hand back to BBC Radio Nottingham's normal programming and Aaron Verma.
I was going to say Vikings, but Yorkshire win by 9 runs. It was an ebb and flow kind of chase there, Ollie. Look at the power play first. Obviously, a couple of wickets for Yorkshire, but it kind of felt that we were growing into the game. We were ahead of the run rate, but that middle section kind of just caught up with us.
Yeah, I guess maybe a little bit too many dots maybe throughout the middle, which then obviously led to us trying to get that boundary option to sort of keep that momentum going. And yeah, unfortunately, a couple of times we lost a couple of clusters of wickets, which hurt us, and to get that close, yeah, it was obviously very frustrating as well. And it's just small little things that, again, haven't gone our way tonight, which is really frustrating and annoying. But that is T20 cricket. Obviously, Hainsey on another day smacks up for 4, and he's off the mark, and away he goes first ball. So just little things like that tonight, yeah, hasn't gone our way.
Look at it as 9 runs. It's so close. It's so agonising, and like you say, it's annoying, frustrating, etc. But do you, as coaches, players, look at more than just that 9-run kind of loss?
Yeah, I guess you have to look at all aspects. I touched on it briefly in the interval. I think that tonight we closed out really well with the ball, but at the start we didn't, which in the other games it's gone the other way. So little things like that maybe going into the big game on Friday, and how we can turn those moments our way and try and, should we say, not reduce the damage, but try and flip it for a positive in our direction, rather than over going for, say, 20 odd, you limit that to 10 to 15, like trying to win balls maybe rather than overs, and trying, if you do go for boundaries, the first 2 balls, trying to claw that over back and getting out of it with little damage as possible. So there'll be things, and even with the batting, there'll be things that we touch on ready for that game on Friday.
I'm going to invite Stephen Mullaney, assistant coach, in now, just to have a chat and to kind of talk through that game. Me and Ollie were just saying words. I mean, you were stood there, so you would have heard it. But words frustrating, agonising. From a coaching point of view, how do you kind of sum up that game?
Yeah, I think I heard Ollie say moments in games, I suppose, and I think if you look at the boundary count, we lost by 9, and they hit 2 more boundaries than us. So I think the way Milan and Lyth started was phenomenal, really, and for us to drag it, I think they were 70 for 6 off the last 10. For us to keep it to that, is very pleasing, and a score that we'd back ourselves to chase. But I think credit to them as well. I think Don Bessers took 3 unbelievable catches. One, Samsey got going, and we thought, and he nailed one back at him and caught it. A yard either side, that's 4, and he's still in, and then we have a real chance. But I think, obviously, things that we want to get better at and keep working on. But also, I think some credit has to go to Yorkshire, and in particular, I think Jaffa Chauhan, 2 for 18. And I think Jack White as well. He's not played a lot of T20 cricket, and 4 for 30 odd, and one of his overs going for 20 odd, and then obviously nailed them Yorkers at the end with an extra field win. So credit to them, but obviously things that we want to work on and get better with these remaining 9 group games. Just
take it into 2 points. So obviously at the halfway point, you said about a chase that you back ourselves to do. We mentioned at the interval, and Ollie's just mentioned there about kind of closing that first innings out. But from a bowling aspect, what would you kind of look at and talk to your bowlers about ahead of Friday?
Yeah, I think it's just obviously keeping it real clear plans in your head, and obviously when the pressure comes on, I heard Ollie just saying, we speak about it a lot, if you go for a boundary off the first ball of your over, can you go for sort of less than 12 in that over, rather than, I think we had a 22 over tonight. So little things like that, really pleased with how we did at the death. Sam's in particular coming back after a tough night the other night. I know I've been in with him and know how hard he's been working this week, so I'm glad to see him get the rewards. Yeah, but obviously the power play, but you also have got to give credit to 2 seasoned campaigners, how the tough place to bowl with a short edge, but it was the same for both sides, and ultimately they bowled a little bit better than us tonight.
So then we look at the batting and the chase. Mentioned about chasing that 176, I think the total was. Obviously Joe Clark got that 50, but was it sort of those sort of middle section, the middle batters just couldn't quite get it off the square and get going, really?
Yeah, I think at one point we needed sort of 7.8 and over, so well within our grasps, and a couple of dots, it happens, funny times. Joe played beautifully. Lyndon, I thought, got a good ball in the first over. Jack Haynes has been unbelievable, and then Middle's his first ball straight to cover. On another day, if that goes either side, then he gets 4 for that. But ultimately, we know we got to keep getting better. and we've probably got to win, I reckon, 6 out of 9 to qualify. We know roughly what the maths are. But I'm backing the lads in that dressing room. They're working the socks off, really. I mean, you see it, and I'm backing them to turn it round, and I'll back us to qualify.
Finally, just, I know you need to go and debrief with the rest of the coaches, but Joe said in his interview with Kirsty yesterday, obviously we were either way with the 4 games, 2 wins, 2 losses. But he mentioned about it's very calm, very collected. Kind of, we know what we've got to do. You've just said that.
Yeah.
Tonight's game doesn't really change that, does it? And what a better way to kind of go again against local arch rivals Derby on Friday, just in 2 days' time.
Yeah, obviously you know him yourself very well. He's a very calm character. All he asked the other night when we lost the game here was, we don't change the way we go about it, and I think we can continue to be aggressive, obviously, and hopefully them moments will change and go in our favour. But yeah, obviously not panic stations by any means, but we know obviously we need to win a few games, and as you said, no better way to start here on Friday, hopefully in front of 15,000 against Derby, because that'd be a great atmosphere for the lads.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Anytime, no worries.
Right, thank you very much. Let's just finish on that then. Obviously, Derby, local rivals. I don't know whether Mr. Patel is recovered from his injury or not, but I'm pretty sure he'll be here. It's disappointing, isn't it, tonight? There's no sugarcoating that, and we're all disappointed, as many people will be. But, Moore's just mentioned it, calm. You'll all have a chat and stuff, but the good thing about T20 cricket is it comes around quite quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's easy after a loss to go searching and think, oh, we need to do something different. Like, we got close tonight, and if we scrub up on a few areas and tidy up, then that easily becomes a win. And it's just little things like that, yeah, we saw last year and in games this year that haven't quite gone the way we want, but it is easy to go and sit up in there and go, we need to do this, we need to do that, let's try and change everything. But ultimately, we just know we need to get a little bit better at the things we're doing at the moment, and things will turn. It's obviously, yeah, very frustrating, and the boys will be annoyed and will be looking at themselves and figuring out what they can do better, ready for the game on Friday. But there is no better game to come out and show the fans again, who were incredible tonight, that we are a good outfit, and we're not actually that far away. And we showed last year against Derby here that when everyone's behind us and we put in a good performance, there's no better place than Trent Bridge.
There isn't. Is it just that all-round performance, like we're sort of 75% there, or to put a percentage on it is a bit silly maybe, but it's just finding that, for all the pieces to click, and then all of a sudden you've got that game and you're winning, and you can get the momentum, and everybody's kind of happy and maybe feeling a bit more free.
Yeah, 100%. And although a lot of us played last year, we are still a relatively sort of inexperienced outfit as such. I mean, not using that as an excuse, but there's still a few people that have not played much T20 cricket, and we know how quickly the format's changed worldwide in the last 12 months. So if you've not been involved and then all of a sudden you're in it, it can unfortunately take a couple of games to get used to what to do. And I feel like, yeah, we're not that far off. I know we keep saying it, but I do truly believe we aren't that far off from a perfect performance, and we know the feeling of it, and we're trying to create it, but sometimes it just doesn't quite happen that easy. So yeah, I mean, I don't, like you touched on there, I don't think we're far away. It's just frustrating that we know what we need to do, we just at the moment sometimes you just can't put that into practice.
Very true. Finally, from yourself, I've loved having you as my co-presenter. You've been absolutely top-notch, but I imagine you're gagging to be back out there. So, see you in the very near future, or you're closer to coming back.
Yeah, fingers crossed. My rehab and stuff's going well. I'm back off to full run on Friday, and hopefully that goes well, and then we can slowly build from there. And I think, unfortunately, the next 2 Champos are too soon, but hopefully one of those T20s after that. Fingers crossed, Durham away. I can go up there and cause some havoc and put 4 points on the board. But yeah, not too far away, which is a nice feeling.
Good. Well, I hope the rest of it goes very well, and I look forward to you causing havoc, and thank you for not causing havoc on this live stream. But how much do you regret wearing shorts and a t-shirt?
No, I'm perfectly warm.
I don't think that's the truth. Thank you to Ollie Stone, obviously, for joining me for this game. So, as we've mentioned, and as you would have heard, we are right back at it on Friday against the Derbyshire Falcons. But from everybody here at Trent Bridge and Trent Bridge Live, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you on Friday.